You're welcome to another episode of the Purp Show. This is season 6, episode 13. We're going to be talking about the very controversial Supergirl tonight. We're also going to be talking about Disclosure Day and then all these other things. We're not going to necessarily talk about the actual movie, but it's going to kind of, coincide what I want to talk about tonight. And got some special guests. You know what I'm saying? We got Terrence in the building. Got
Hello.
Rashad.
You.
Um, and got another person coming in. Just waiting on him to, get situated. And yeah. But how y'all doing? You know what I'm saying? What y'all been watching? A lot's happened since the last episode. Knicks are champions and stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Yes,
wild.
sir. Yes, sir.
It really kind of came and went though, to be honest. But I guess for New Yorkers, it's different. But
Terrence, it's been a long time coming, bro. I've been a Knicks fan since I was 12 years old, and they broke my heart year after year. So this was big, big deal. I shed a couple tears, man. I ain't gonna lie. I got on the phone with my brother and my pops, and we was on the phone for hours, man, just talking about the Knicks, bro. So yeah, it's a happy time for New York fans.
what made you become a Knicks fan?
I was kind of born into this shit, man. My father was a big Yankees, Knicks, Giants. So I remember the first day when Patrick Ewing got drafted and how big a deal that was. So I was really born into it, but I didn't watch a lot of basketball as a
Wait,
kid.
wait, wait. Born into it or indoctrinated into it?
I was born into it, man, because even when I was swimming in my daddy's sack, man, he was a New York fan. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I didn't watch a lot of basketball as a kid because I was more into cartoons and superheroes and stuff. But then when the Dream Team happened, that's when I really started getting into basketball. And then after the Dream Team, I was like, let me watch the Knicks. So I remember this guy Patrick Ewing, and and from there I was hooked. I was a diehard fan ever since. Through the good years
That's
and the
dope.
bad years. Yeah,
What up, Dot? It's been a long time, man.
yes sir.
Hello, K Dot.
It's probably just getting situated.
So,
But
y-
go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, so even though I don't care about 99% of sports unless it's boxing or MMA, in terms of basketball, football, baseball, hockey, NASCAR, soccer, pretty much all of them, they've all been around me because family and friends, they watch that constantly. So I have a strong awareness of, the main different players for different teams that everyone knows about, including the Knicks, which I care nothing about. But the interesting thing is, when the friends were watching these various basketball games, I was like, yep, the Knicks, they getting their ass beat. And then I just seen something weird. I was like, wait, how are they fumbling this huge lead? This seems to be very bizarre. And then my brother was going to bet on the Knicks, which I told him there was a huge risk because that seemed to be incredibly illogical because they were getting their ass beat. And he said, "Oh, I have a feeling." And my brother, he's really good with betting when it comes to sports teams. Most of the time, he's right. So I was like, okay, you tend to be right most of the time. So I guess you can do it. I don't know nothing about betting on teams like that. I would just fuck it up most of the time, especially because I'm not following every single game to really know all of the stats completely, like my brother, for example. But he wanted to do that. And what happened was he didn't have things right with his account because he was gonna do like a bet and then he was gonna win like $8,000 because he had this historic comeback, which made no sense on paper, but it happened. And he told me, he's like, man, he's like, we almost won 8,000. I was like, what are you talking about? And then he said, well, my account wasn't really working right. I was like, you mean to tell me that you almost had 8K and because your account was messed up, it didn't happen? In this historic event, it was just the most bizarre thing. And we both kind of laughed about it. I was like, man, that's just crazy. So naturally, you had that weird situation with my brother. And then you have friends calling me. And they're like, T, did you see the game? And those were the ones that weren't with me. And I was like, yeah, I saw it. And then, you know, you hear fireworks going on. It actually kind of sounded like a nuclear war because humans, they have all those illegal fireworks that they're not supposed to have. So it seemed like a world war was going on around me and shit blowing up and stuff. So that was my perspective, even though I didn't give a damn about none of what I was watching. But that's what was happening around me.
Ooh. Oh, Purp go out.
Oh no, I was muting my phone. I was fucking sitting there talking to myself and shit. But what up, Doc?
Can you guys hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, man, let hear you.
Hello,
All right, all right. What's good,
Long
everybody?
time, man. Long time, bro.
It's been super long. Yeah, guys, I've been disappeared. Just working, dealing with life. Just life stuff. Other than that,
K-Dot, it's been too long. The last time I talked to you, Henry Cavill was Superman. That's how long it's been.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Damn.
I mean, shit. To me, he stopped being Superman at Justice League 2017. That's I mean, we saw him in Black Adam, but that was a post credit scene. That doesn't mean he's back.
True.
That don't count.
Yeah, he didn't become actual Superman until at the end of Black Adam, but you know it didn't count, and nobody saw it, unfortunately. So you know that's
What up, Tony?
Sadly. I've been cool.
Man,
I've been cool. It's good to see everybody again. Missed everybody.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully, I'm back. But I'm back.
That's what's up. That's what's up.
I'm back too, K. You know, sometimes in life. Yeah.
Oh, did you wait? Did you like?
Yeah,
new channel.
Yeah, so I'm actually
okay, cool.
I'm actually supposed to be banned, but I only have like one time because they told me this is the last account that I can make from this IP address. But one of my fans from 2018, he donated $600 to me, and he said, "Please return to YouTube." So that's why I came back. So I was like, okay, I'm not gonna just accept that crazy ass amount of money and not come back. There's no way I'd be that fucked up like that.
Right. But anyways, got a bunch of different kind of movies and topics to kind of talk about. You already know it's gonna be just random. We're just gonna shoot shit and whatnot. And everybody here has seen Supergirl, but we're gonna say that for last and whatnot. But to kind of kick things off, I wanted to, and you didn't necessarily have to see this movie. I just wanted to kind of talk about this movie and other movies and just how people are talking about movies within like movie talk space and how it's all fucked up. I feel like across the board. And just kind of like using Disclosure Day as the kind of point with like, you know, this being a very like, you know, divided movie when it first came out, it being Spielberg. So it's like the one of the conversations coming out of the movie was like, if it was directed by somebody else, would it, you know, get more scrutinized or, you know, so much more backlash? I don't know.
Wait, well, I haven't seen the movie yet, but was the movie good for you? Like, did you see it?
I didn't like it. I was like, for me, it's a, if you're going by a Letterboxd standards where it's just like 5 stars, it's a 2.5. That's me just being, you know, gracious to Spielberg. You know what I'm saying? I could go lower. I've been thinking about going lower because the more I think about it, the movie's dumb. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I haven't.
What's your question though? Like you're asking.
I haven't seen it yet, but I think. Okay, let me. Steven Spielberg directed a bunch of stuff.
You're breaking up a little bit.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah.
When's the last time he directed a movie?
Was it the Fablemans? Was his last?
Yeah,
that was
2019.
Is that I think that was 2022, right?
Was it 20? Oh, okay, might have been. It's been a minute.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I think that's also a part of the issue too that you might be having.
just age.
It's not even his age. It's the fact that he been producing movies these past couple years and not actually directing a movie. And still Spielberg is a legendary director. Don't get me wrong,
Right.
but when you disappear from your craft from too long and you're just behind the scenes too much, it's like if anyone was a rapper and all you was doing was like you stopped rapping and you were just creating beats and for years and then you try to rap again, you're not gonna sound as good as you thought you was or be that good. You literally disappear from your specific craft for too long.
Yeah, and more so, and it's more so like I think he's kind of with this movie specifically, he's kind of like just not really in touch. Well, I wouldn't say in touch. Well, yeah, it just feels
I
very
think
dated.
yeah,
Very,
I think he's out of touch. I thought the same thing when I watched the Purp. You got it right.
yeah, it's like really out of touch. It just feels very dated. Like the CGI is like absolutely terrible. Like it's worse than like some shit that you would see in The Walking Dead with their like CGI deer and shit. It's that bad, but then people will complain about something like Supergirl's, special effects. I was like, Supergirl's special effects look way better, but
No, no
that's
special. That was the one good thing I can say for sure about the movie. No special effects were on point.
yeah,
Okay, so I'm trying to answer your question because I haven't seen the movie, but what I do know is that the movie was a massive failure financially. That shit just died in a toilet somewhere. In terms of the actual movie, I'll need to see it. Like I was a little interested when I saw the trailer, but it was
mhm.
more, I'll watch it later because
Well,
most movies don't excite me to go watch it right away. There's only a few that do that, and then the rest, I'm like, I'll watch it later. So
well, let
this,
me reframe it then. Like, so Scary Movie 6 came out. I didn't like it. I don't think that's a good movie at all. But people did make excuses for it, and that just seems to be kind of like a pattern, like where people are just picking and choosing what to be upset about.
so
With certain type of movies. That's
so
probably how I should have worded it.
Yeah,
okay,
I
but
mean it kind of more so is that nowadays everybody's not the criticism with a lot of movies is not the same, especially. And yeah, look, people can have their opinions about it all they want, but it's happening again even with the DCU, whether people like it or not. I seen someone put a post like, "Damn, second movie in, let's scrap DCU." But
Right.
hold on. So like I said, this is like a broad thing to cover, right? So like
Hmm.
first I can address the whole Steven Spielberg thing, right?
Right.
One
Right.
of the
Yeah.
directors of all time. But it's kind of like myself, like, I used to do martial arts every day for hours, right? But when you don't do something for a long time, you're just not going to be as good as those that do it all the time. So while I can beat the fuck out of the average person in my sleep, if I were to try to go step into a martial arts tournament, that wouldn't be smart without me preparing for a year just to get back to where I was and better, right?
Hmm.
In the case of Steven Spielberg, because he doesn't do a whole lot, humans will say, well, he's out of touch. I feel like that may not be the case as much as it is that a lot of times your passion and your hunger can go away, which would
Hmm.
make you the great director or the great martial artist. Like there's a difference between being hungry versus you're already established or you're comfortable, so you don't
Right.
necessarily do as much. So I think maybe that might be what's happening with Steven Spielberg, but I'll be able to speak on that more fully, once I see
Well,
Disclosure.
Well,
and one
can
thing,
I say this?
one,
No.
I was just gonna add. I was just gonna add that one thing to that. Because I see it like it is Steven Spielberg like free from criticism because that's what it seems like. People kind of treat him with kid gloves. They don't really ever really go at him like you would see like many other directors You know what I'm saying? They tell like, oh, fire this guy, or you know what I'm saying, he should just quit or stop making movies. You know what I'm saying? Like you never really get that with Spielberg, even though with this movie, I definitely feel like there's a lot you can criticize, and I don't think it's his strongest outing. But
Okay, so that
a
Numbers,
lot of people do fuck with it. But go ahead, go ahead.
well, the numbers speak for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like the numbers will tell you, what the people really think about the movie. And Spielberg back in the 80s was like Mr. Untouchable, like the guy with piss gold. You know what I'm saying? Like he couldn't lose. If he put his name on something, it was guaranteed a winner. But that's just not the case anymore. Now, having seen the movie, and mind you, I'm a big Steven Spielberg fan. I think he's probably the third greatest director of all time. I put him behind Scorsese and Spike Lee. You know what I'm saying? Like that's my top three. But he's not. I mean, in my book, I'm still going to criticize it. From what I see, and the movie itself, like the direction, like Steven Spielberg still has it. Like Michael Jordan will never lose his jump shot. I don't care if he's 80 years old. Michael Jordan can still make a fucking basket. Steven Spielberg can still direct the fuck out of a movie. The problem is the movie just makes no fucking sense. You know what I'm saying? Like it's building to something. It's building to something great and epic, and then by the end, the way
It's like
how
that's
the
not
movie ended,
realistic at all. Like that, I laughed at the end because I was like,
it
nobody
was
would do this.
it was so
Nobody would do
stupid.
this. And when
It was,
when I thought when somebody brought it up, it's like, yo, why don't they just like upload this shit to fucking the internet and just put it I was like,
yeah,
yeah,
okay,
that's
okay.
right. Like it's just the more you think about it, the more it
it
unravels,
was
and just
dumb.
like
It was just so it was leading up to something big, and they just ended up being a nothing burger. You know what I'm saying? It made no fucking sense. But as far as like directing techniques and even like Spielberg to me has always been a master of like not suspense, but like intense scenes where it leaves you on the edge. Like the scene with the train, that shit was crazy. That train sequence was crazy. There's a scene with there's like a chase sequence where a car goes through a fucking house. So he can still direct the shit out of something, man. And I liked the first half of it, and then when it got to like the really silly shit, like and like near the end of the
it
second,
turned
third,
into
beginning of the back, huh?
I was like, it really turned into some white savior shit at the end. Pretty much, it's like, oh
Yeah,
man, these was
yeah,
the chosen ones. Like,
yeah.
okay, we're doing that again.
Yeah,
I
the shit fell off big time.
I saw other directors throw shade at Spielberg's recent film, right? So I think that they understand a little bit more than everyone else. It's like you can like he'll always be able to direct. I'll always be able to do a roundhouse kick. But there's a difference between doing it and it being done a certain way that's considered crisp,
Right.
right? Like other directors of like, that's not that good. Just like I can see another martial artist and go, everybody else might be like, man, that kick was amazing. And I'm sitting there going, that shit was sloppy as fuck. What kind of roundhouse kick was that? So it's just the
What up,
idea of,
Philip?
a certain perspective and, just being unbiased, right? So like when you were saying about how a lot of humans don't want to criticize Spielberg, that is largely true. But for me, while I don't care what a human thinks about anything, what will happen is I may respect it more if it's coming from an educated position. Like if I believe that the human knows what they're talking about, because depending
Hmm.
on what you're talking about, you'll have different angles. So even if I
Right.
disagree, if I believe that the human is coming at it from an educated position, I can go, I don't agree with that shit, but at least that sounds intelligent the way that you said it. So it just
Yeah.
depends.
And like I said, like there are some people that this movie really worked for them, and they rate it very highly. So it's like it's very weird. It's just weird, like especially with like Mortal Kombat 2 that came out. It's just like that
So
movie is bad, but then people would give that shit excuses and stuff like that. It's just
Yeah,
weird.
Purp, it's like that, right? For you glad you said Mortal Kombat 2. Now, don't get me wrong, you guys. If I had to compare it to the 95 movie, it's obviously some better things, such as the action scenes, but the 95 movie is better music, for example. But just talking about Mortal Kombat 2, mind you, people already complained about the first film. All right, cool. Then they said this second film was somehow better than the first film. I'm not saying the first film was better either, But like, prime example, Johnny Cage in the film had less good. His motivations were not as strong as Katana's for him to be the main character of the film. And you swap him from the person from the first movie, but you built the first movie on the first person, and then in the first movie, the person from the first movie, you kill them in the second movie immediately. So you kind of just wasted the first.
That wasn't Johnny Cage. That was Johnny Lawrence, man. That was Johnny Lawrence.
Facts. Okay,
but aside from that, but real quick, aside from that, I did like Mortal Kombat 2, but we have seen a lot of people recently, even the general audience, complaining about Hollywood lacking good writing. And I like Mortal Kombat 2, but it was so much dumb writing in that film. And I'm like, do people want good writing? It's like, do people want good writing or not? And I'm just like, well, we're not here for that. We're here for action.
It's just
like the Furious. That's what like Mortal Kombat should look like. Action wise, story. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so with those amazing points made,
it's like Mortal Kombat 2, guys.
So Mortal Kombat 2 was entertaining, 100%, and they definitely did better than that previous film, 100%. But
agreed.
Compared to 1995, at least with 1995, I was like, "Yep, that's Mortal Kombat 1 and 2." With that one, I was like, if you look at it as a movie, nothing wrong with it. If you played all the fucking games, you're pulling your hair out while you're watching the movie, especially when you understand that they took out Cole Young, and you're thinking, yes, that means my boy Liu Kang can come up in life for him to do jack shit for 2 movies. I'm like, how you have Liu Kang in there, and then Raiders like, yep, he's the best fighter we have. I'm like, so who did he beat?
Completely waste of a character.
Yeah, he didn't.
And then Johnny was the main, and that's why I say even Terrence. I'm glad you brought up with Liu. Liu and Katana both had more compelling reasons to be fighting at the tournament this film more than Johnny Cage. He was just a washed-up actor. It is like
he didn't want to be there. Brother didn't want to be there.
His first fight.
Yeah, he lost. But real quick, guys. So look, I get it in the games. Johnny Cage is a washed-up actor. That's what it is in the game. But still in the games, Liu Kang and other characters have still been more compelling than Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage has never really led the franchise up until like Mortal Kombat 10.
Right. He just has a lot of cool.
And I like Johnny Cage, but he is not compelling like Liu Kang or Katana was in the film. And I'm like, they gave us the wrong main characters to focus the movie on.
And you know why that is? Because they already set themselves up for failure with the previous film. They made so many mistakes that they were trying to correct it in number 2. And while they were trying to correct it, they forgot about the games. And then they had the nerve to have a scene with Ed Boon in the fucking movie, and he just doing all that shit. I was like, are you insane? Oh, no.
And that's another thing too. Every single creator, even Ed Boon, he was one of the minds responsible for Mortal Kombat, and he even co-signed this. And I'm like, damn, Ed, we can't even depend on you to make sure something is solid, because you would think it's not the writing of the film, but this story itself. I figured he would have like just done something better with it.
And he said in an interview that he's like, Liu Kang he was putting love on Liu Kang. I was like, oh man, Liu Kang gonna do something amazing. Even though he has the best fight scene, it doesn't mean anything because he didn't beat any of the big names that he's supposed to beat. I don't care.
And mind you, he hardly even interacted with Katana in the movie. And I'm like, damn, these two.
Liu Kang had the best fight in the motherfucker though,
he
man.
He did.
That was a highlight of the movie.
It was forgettable though.
Yeah, right. It doesn't mean anything. It's like in the previous movie, they had him struggling against Cabal. I was like,
and look, you guys, while Mortal Kombat 2 fight scenes are way better than the first movie's scenes, this is the difference of why I think the 95 movie sticks in people's heads. It's that music from those fight scenes. They're all memorable. Like I can literally start up the like the reptile fight. I can
amazing. Amazing.
remember that cadence. I can remember that cadence of the music. That
you could hear it just now.
like you can remember it, and it also helps you remember the fight. Like, ooh, that's Mortal Kombat versus Reptile, and then
Right.
Yeah, they haven't really. The thing about these new Mortal Kombat movies, they look good, but like not now. I don't even want to say they look good, but they they have potential because you have certain people that like okay, but they're playing the wrong characters. Like the nigga that was playing fucking Scorpion, you know what I'm saying? Old boy from Shogun.
Yeah,
He should have been fucking. Yeah, he could have been
Shang Tsung.
he could have been fucking Raiden or some shit like that. Like,
Oh yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
High five. I thought I was the only one. I was like, this rating trash. Everybody was able to take him out. I was like, this supposed to be Raiden. Like in the
This
game.
is Caillou with a fucking lightning powers and shit.
Right. I'm like, man, they took him out of the movie, a little slice to the throat. I was like, if it was that easy to take out Raiden, oh my God, that shit pissed me off so much.
Purp, real quick, if you look at Tony's comment, that's what I've been saying, and that's what Mortal Kombat needs. Mortal Kombat doesn't work as movies. And depending how you structure
A show would be tough.
Depending how you structure it, but like the tournament, and Mortal Kombat has never been like some deep type of,
But
you know, like the writing isn't nothing very deep. But imagine you take a TV show and it's the normal runtime that they like to do with TV shows nowadays, 8 to 10 episodes, and
Right.
in each episode you focus on two fighters, one from the opposing realm, one from the other realm. You give us a little backstory on both. Your training before they're
Right. You make it an anthology. You could do an anthology, like each episode's a different character.
And like one episode can be about Sub-Zero versus Scorpion's beef. Another episode could be about why Kano and Sonya have beef. You know, like
but they already did that, okay? They did that with Mortal Kombat Conquest. 22.
I remember that.
They did.
Yeah. And that shit is
old as hell.
Too many characters
in all the movies when it comes to the lore to the games. Period. It smokes the movies.
And also, Terrence, the Mortal Kombat has too many, and this is another problem with Mortal Kombat. I like the franchise, but too many of the characters are likable because everyone likes Liu Kang just as much as they like Johnny Cage, and everyone likes Johnny Cage as much as they like Sonya. But I mean, honestly, I'll take either one of these three as a lead character for a Mortal Kombat film. But I'm like, damn, I want to see my boy Liu Kang 24/7 as the lead.
Right?
I like Johnny Cage. Johnny Cage should be the lead. You know.
Fact. But I feel that way about
the lead. Like I would say as the lead, but Scorpion never led a Mortal Kombat story before. But I would rather make him a lead over a Cole Young. You know,
this is a perfect segue into Toy Story 5. You know what I'm saying?
I did not see it yet. I didn't see it yet.
You didn't see? Oh, okay.
I mean, y'all can still talk about it. I don't care. Go ahead. I'm not sure.
I know you don't care about spoilers and shit.
Yeah. You know me, spoiled that. Let's do it.
Let's get it. Go ahead.
I like to say, from what I see, I just see a lot of. I've seen a lot of black people on TikTok showing love to it. A lot of black adults. So I'm like,
show love to what? Toy Story 5?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah, I've seen a lot of black adults messing with it.
Shit,
it's clearly touching people's childhood. So I'd say that's a great.
Well. Speaking. Well, Rashad, speaking as the only parent here, how did this movie make you feel? Considering the themes of it are like, kids with technology, you know what I'm saying, with the iPads and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? I had to deal with that shit with my nephew as well. But like it is an interesting kind of topic. Do you feel like this movie, this should have been Toy Story 4 instead of 5?
Yeah, because it pretty much retconned everything that happened in Toy Story 4. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like
I don't even remember 4.
You can jump right from 3 to this one, and you wanted this shit. So 4 was almost unnecessary. But I like the whole theme of technology versus toys. You know what I'm saying? And because my son, he stopped playing with toys when he was about probably 5, I think 4 or 5. And and he played. Then he got his sister's old phone, and that was a wrap.
It was raps. GGs.
You started playing Temple Run and stuff like that, and so he has like a whole closet full of toys that he hasn't played with for years. You know. Yeah,
That's crazy.
his favorite toy used to be. I got him like a big like a 12-inch Hulk toy, and they used to
Mm.
go to bed with that and everything. Like that was his Hulk smash. Like he loved that thing, but once he got a hold of that phone, them toys went away. So I did, yeah. So I did like the theme of it. It's realistic. It does happen. Unfortunately, the movie just there was just too much shit going on, too many different subplots that made no sense,
They
uninteresting.
disrespecting the fuck out of Buzz, yo. Like,
Even Woody. I understand. I understand. It's an old franchise. They have to show how the toys are aging. But I'm like, damn, you had to give Woody a bald spot
boss, but
in
yeah,
the gut. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah,
Somebody said, "Yeah, that nigga a fupa."
Wait,
Woody served no purpose, man.
is Woody and them still with that girl Bonnie?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no. Woody's. They're doing some other shit. They're like, they had everybody like Toy Avengers and shit like that. But,
Everybody saving toys and shit.
to be honestly, like Woody just definitely didn't need to be a part of this movie. Like,
Nah.
we could have just checked in with him and checked out.
Okay,
Exactly.
hey, hold on. Not no. hold on. So no. You always gotta have Woody. To me, if you don't have Woody
Pause.
and I'm just I'm not gonna see it. Because when I was a kid, I had a lot of those toys, like the life size ones, like you snatched them out of the movie, and I had Woody and Buzz. So for me, those are my favorite characters. So they're why I continue to watch the Toy Story films, honestly.
How'd you feel about 5?
So I enjoyed 5. My favorite is still the first one. But I like the sequels because they just expand on the stuff that we enjoyed in the first movie. So like for me, Buzz Lightyear had the best scenes in the movie. Like the shit they was doing with all the buzzes.
That shit was funny though.
Yeah, and when they
What
took
was the whole fucking point of that? That's the shit that bothered me. What the fuck was the point of all those damn? I'm like, what is this? The fucking Attack of the Clones, but Toy Story?
the reason why as I was watching it, I picked up on a lot of the themes in the movie. So like when they had a bunch of the buzzes and they just kind of got shipwrecked and they kind of were irrelevant. That actually I said that's actually pretty clever. That lends to the whole theme about what happens when you become irrelevant. So when that happens, you have to figure out what to do. So even though they were lost initially, meaning that they were just following their base programming, which was to be whatever they were designed to be. But then, of course, all the toys have the same thing, which is to make children happy. When they see humans, they freeze and they're like, why do we do that shit? Like, I like that was put in there because
That was funny.
when you think about humans, right? Like the majority of them are programmed too. Like they say all the time, I don't know why I did that. I can't explain it. So when you apply that to the toys, that's very clever. I appreciated that type of humor throughout the film because it does have real world applications. So as far as I'm concerned, I went there for Buzz and Woody, and Buzz had the best scenes in the entire movie. I love all of them.
I'm gonna say this real quick, man. I don't know. I think to me, Toy Story ended after 3 for me. I think 1 through 3 was like a perfect trilogy. You know what I'm saying? 3 was emotional. That shit had me like I'm a grown ass man in the theater with my daughter choking up and about to cry watching Toy Story 3. To me, like that was the Return of the Jedi. That was the Return of the King. Toy Story 3 should have been it. This shit was like fucking Force Awakens, man. It's like it's not needed. Toy Story.
But I understand. But at the same time, I'll say this about Toy Story and Toy Story 3. I agree because the Toy Story 3 came out in my graduation year, and everybody in my graduation class seen it, and like that was the same year Andy was like graduating too, and so like he started moving out. It was just it was a cool like transitional kind of like thing.
It was a cool rap.
It was kind of it just lined up like really tough. So that's why it's like near and dear to a lot of people around my age range and like even older and stuff like it just. But how I look at it is like that's like a good ending for like how I looked at it is like millennials or like older generations and stuff, and just getting into like this next generation of kids that have been growing up into the internet. So it's like that new. It's like the new like the Gen Zs, the whatever's below that and stuff like that, because that's a whole different type of breed coming up now. So it's like it's interesting that that might resonate with them over time. Time will tell, honestly. But
Well, sure, but objectively, I was like, yep, 3 has a perfect ending, 4 has a
mm,
perfect ending, and 5 is just extra, right? So I was like, I'm gonna watch it because it's Toy Story. But the point is that I had fun, even
mm,
though the movie is not needed. And the whole thing with man, this generation intellectually challenged. So like I do appreciate that the movie called out a lot of the kids and shit just being sucked into technology. They don't go outside, they don't interact, they're just glued to like a tablet or a cell phone. So I
or a
appreciate
screen.
it. Right. So I appreciate that they called out this generation, especially the younger kids, especially in America. I was like, "Oh, I like that boldness." Can you now that you did a mic drop on a bunch of the kids nowadays? Now you can get into the whole fun stuff, which they did. After they did the mic drop, it was just a bunch of fun stuff. It's like we don't need it, but it was fun.
You know what I look at though? When I look at as far as like as I look at our generation, like the millennials, I feel like we were like the test dummies for a lot of like this generation now that they're just glued to these screens because we didn't binge watch, but we were watching reruns. You know what I'm saying? That was binging at the time.
Yeah.
It's just that was just like kind of like a form of it. But
Well,
Shit,
you're going to say something?
well,
I had
yeah. Just add in because Terrence, I'm glad he brought it up because actually, so y'all remember earlier I mentioned that that post I saw about the black adults. I was like praising the movie and stuff. That's what they were talking about. How kids in this generation nowadays are more so sucked into technology, which is not making them as smart and other things. And when they mentioned that, I was like, oh, now I kind of get an idea of what this film is about, right? And also, and I think to be fair, and this just to be fair to even this generation of children, because it's not even fully their fault why they're at the state they're at. Because first it starts with the parents, it starts with the adults, and also how society is advancing. And I'm not gonna lie to y'all. After Grand Theft Auto 6 just did all those pre-orders and sold 3 billion in pre-orders, we have like stuff like physical copies is now about to be a thing of the past. It's officially the thing of the past.
hell no, forget that.
People are selling digital codes, bro. That's insane.
And it's like
Gaming
slowly,
is cooked.
slowly we've all kind of not been realizing it, but as soon as streaming kicked in, that was just a start of the end for a particular thing. But we kind of still been holding on. Hopefully, physical copies and stuff like that still exist. But
they will.
But once we advance and we make things easier for humans are going to get stupider when you make things easier and simpler for them. But that's just the inevitable and sad reality of it.
I've been saying that for years, K. Humans are dumb as hell. And a lot of this has to do with when you get a new trend, they all get sucked in. And not just that, but like I've seen even on TikTok, like you said, a lot of adults, especially black adults, were praising the film, but they leave out a lot of stuff. One of the things that they leave out is that in the film, even though the children are showing the toys are looking, they're like, damn, what's up with all these kids with these screens and shit? What the hell's going on? He's supposed to be outside playing with toys and shit. But then you look into the other windows and you move over just a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right, and the parents are doing the same fucking thing. The adults. So if the kids, which are like sponges, right? Because when you're a child, it's like you just pay attention to everything, and then whatever else is around you, you tend to copy that shit. And unless you happen to be truly unique, you tend to copy that shit. So if the adults are sucked into the technology, the children are going to do the same thing. They're like, well, mommy and daddy are sucked into it. I might as well be too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And see,
that's kind of crazy.
And see, that's why the parent and the child, it depends on the child's age. At some point, the child has to start taking responsibility for their own life.
Yeah.
But it starts with the parents, because these parents are just like Terrence said, are just as sucked into this technology as the children. And like when I was growing up, right, I didn't do a lot of sports. I was outside and active, but I wasn't doing just sports. I was probably out riding my bike, but also one thing my mom used to make me do in my pastime at home, along with letting me play whatever I want, watch whatever I want. For the most part, she made me read a book almost every week, at least one day a week, a book. You know, because one thing that she knows is mandatory in life is having good reading comprehension skills, knowing how to understand this English language that we speak, because our language is a very manipulative language. Just because you know how to speak it, do you understand the words that someone is saying and how they're saying it to you?
Facts.
Right.
Is this person saying something to you that might be them trying to do something sneaky, but you may not think they're saying it in a sneaky way to hint to you, I'm about to do something sneaky to you and one up you. But the person might not understand that if they did not educate themselves. And that's why my mom made sure, you read a book a day or read a book a week. Like read, not just learning in school, but learning at home too. Like
shout out to your mom for that, because humans, one of their traits is manipulation. But if you're smart, you can catch on to that shit immediately. But in order to do so, you would have to have a certain mind that you gain from conversation, that you gain from reading. If you're sucked into technology and all you do is listen to other humans, they can lead you down the rabbit hole. And then you end up being fucked up. You just become part of the matrix. You don't want that.
Well, I tell you what, I didn't hate Toy Story 5. I mean, I thought it was unnecessary, but there were things that I did appreciate about the movie. One of the things I did like that they touched on also was how kids interact with one another, right? So, like I forgot the little girl's name, but she was real shy and didn't feel comfortable face to face. But then when she got the tablet, what I'm saying, she was more comfortable interacting with them, through. And that's what happens now. Because my son, he plays online, Roblox and all that stuff, and he talks to so many people online, but it's different online than when you see him face to face. You know what I mean?
So,
and I like how the movie addressed that. And wait, I tell a quick funny story too, and because also online you could be real bold. Because one day some kid was talking real crazy to my son, right? They're saying some real outlandish shit to him, so he wanted to say something back to him, but I didn't know how bad the language was until he asked his mom permission. He was like, "Mom, can I this kid's like talking crazy to me. Can I like curse back at him?" And his mom was curious what he was gonna say, so she said, "Yeah, go ahead. I'll let you curse this one time." So he gets back on the game, puts the headphones on, and says, "Hey, you still there? Yeah, well, fuck you too then." I said, "Oh,
oh, badass kid."
He asked for permission, though.
He did, yeah. That's for permission. That's why we couldn't get mad, man. But I was like, hey, man,
for permission. He didn't just outright do it. He that's the thing, and that's how you have an intelligent kid. He wanted to do something that would have been technically a crash out thing, right? But just to keep himself in check before he does so, he asked for permission to crash out.
Yeah, he's even better now, because now he waits till everybody goes to sleep, and then he'll like, that's when he really can get in. Because she caught him one time. She was like, "Yeah, I got up in the middle of the night and used the bathroom, and he was in there just, yeah, man, your mommy ain't shit, your daddy ain't shit. Yeah, fuck you." And I'm like, boy.
They thinking it's like the Call of Duty lobbies and shit. Them kids could not survive in those. In those were the trenches for sure.
Not now. And one thing, especially about these kids nowadays, and especially this generation of kids, when it comes to how they even consume fictional media, right? Mind you, we all have some deep connection to something in fictional media, but some of them even are getting to a point where like they can't even discern between characters anymore. Like an actor can do their character so well, and they could be a villain, and these kids will like think that person is so real and like literally hate the character, discredit how good the character is.
They're dumb. That's what happened.
in this grade, how good the character is just because it's like, no, the actor just did such a great job that you hate them. You're supposed to hate them. That was the goal.
Or they emulate them, or like there's some people that like when Obsession came out, some people's like, oh, I can relate so much to Bear. I was like, what the fuck you mean you can relate to Bear? What the fuck? You should have never said that out loud, bro. Like you should have kept that to yourself.
Like that.
It's like
Bear was a bitch,
even
bro.
recently with has everyone here seen the ending of The Boys season 5? I don't want to spoil nothing.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
You can spoil it. I don't give a damn.
Okay, so we all seen the ending to The Boys season 5,
right?
And when Homelander died, right? A lot of people, and mind you, I understand why they said this, but also these are young people too saying these type of comments that I was seeing. A lot of them when Homelander died, they was like, man, I kind of feel bad. Feel bad?
Huh? I mean, he did go out like a bitch, man. He was begging for his life.
No, Terrence, not in that way. Not in that way. I like that he did go out, but they when they said they felt bad as in like
they sympathized with them.
Like what?
I didn't feel
not one good thing in this show ever.
Nah.
I didn't feel bad for him. I read the comics. The comics are a million times worse, but the way that they did it in the show, it was good, but I was disappointed in his behavior. I'm like, man, you a bitch. Billy, kill him now. It's just he was begging so much.
Well, that was true to the character though, because Homelander always been a bitch, but he always hid behind his powers. But behind it all, he was a little breast milk drinking bitch.
I know what Terrence is talking about, and this is what would have fixed it if they let Homelander do a little bit of scorched earth in the finale.
Correct.
Okay.
He didn't do no scorched earth. All he did was scorch the White House floor.
You know what they had him do? They had him do what most humans like to do on the internet. They stick their chest out, and when you come in person, they shrivel up like little bitches. That's what they did to Homelander. He didn't get to do no scorched earth. I didn't see a bunch of
like Yamcha.
Nothing. I was expecting him, like you said, to do a scorched earth, and then you take him out. He didn't get to do nothing. He just was talking.
They probably ran out of money. That's why they probably had no more budget to do the.
They might have ran out of money, but they also ran out of clever ideas. Because in that writer's room, it was definitely getting a little bit skittish towards the end. I was like, "Come on, y'all need to amp this up. You don't need millions of dollars to have him rip somebody's head off. Like, come on,
But see, not to make about The Boys, but even Homelander is a prime example of children today. As we see Homelander in the show, like he's a kid that was fully isolated growing up. He was also abused by them scientists growing up. You know, yes, he had strong skin, but he was being abused by them scientists growing up. But he was a sheltered kid for the most part. He lacks social skills. He doesn't know how to even turn off his own. He does not how to even filter himself in certain settings. He's just going to just be blatant.
And he's psychotic. You got to mention that. So I did, but when you're tortured as a kid, I mean, you're not going to turn out normal. I don't care what anybody fucking said.
Yeah.
But the point is, like, to tie it back to Toy Story 5, right? The thing with Bonnie is a real thing. Like in terms of bullying, they actually covered that in it. That was another bold thing because I went through bullying, right? So what happens is, you know, when you get bullied, you have so many different reactions to it, right? And then everyone on the outside, they always say the dumbest shit, like get over it or just go and talk to them. But that shit don't work. So what happens is a lot of kids, they try to just blend in with it, right? It's like, well, they're making fun of me because I'm not using tech like them. So I'll just use tech like them. The answer is to be fake, and then you'll be accepted by the humans, right? So when she did that, I was like, oh,
fake it till you make it.
Yeah, I was hoping that Bonnie would get a real friend because I'm like, if somebody's going to disrespect you and then you got to do what they want for you to like them, those are not your friends. So like when the toys was like, damn, we got to get Bonnie a real friend. And even that piece of technology, the little frog, was just like, damn, I messed up. I put her with the wrong people. I was like, I like that shit. Y'all better fix this right now. I'm walking out the theater like. That's when I got invested because, again, you know, my background is kid. So that's how they pulled me in with the bullying angle. That's how they got me. Because before then, I was just like, yeah, hurry up and get to the credits. But as soon as they did that, I was like, now you got Terrence's attention. What you gonna do now?
Speaking speaking of being bullied and having tragic things happen to you as a kid, that's a perfect segue into our next topic is Batman.
Hey, all that money getting bullied. Shit.
Old bats.
Yeah,
Good old
man.
bats.
Batman. So we got a bunch of Batman news. Absolute Batman is getting a animated series. Rumor is that they're going to be using CG. I'm not too happy about that, but we'll see where that goes. Batman Nightfall. We got the trailer for that. When does that come out?
That shit
Ooh,
looks fire.
It comes out this year, part 1.
I can't wait for that. Hey, DC animation is normally,
Somebody check that date when that comes out.
but
Terrence, I agree. DC animation 9 times out of 10 comes through. Over the live, especially over the live.
And
action.
then on the July 23rd, that's when the Cape Crusader comes out. I fuck with that series. So you got like 3 different kind of Batman Jones going on at the same time. And then you got the Batman Part 2 coming out next year. So I think we're good.
Please, I don't know if they listening to this. Can you please hurry up with the Batman 2? Can you please?
Yeah, they just started filming. Like, just you know what I'm saying. So it's getting made. So we there. We just gotta wait till next October, which I feel like it's gonna be there before we know it. We're already in fucking, was it June? The end of June. I was like, yo, where the fuck did the half of the year go?
I mean, next year.
Shout out to Matt Reeves. Matt Reeves is awesome. You stumping the shit out of James Gunn. I can't wait till the Batman 2 comes out. Just wait.
Well, next year going to be the first year we finally get a Superman and Batman live action movie releasing in the same year in theaters.
That's gonna be dope.
Even though I'm grateful for all this Batman stuff because he is my favorite comic book character, period. I know what they're doing over there at WB. See, they always go to Batman when everything is falling apart because they don't know how to handle any other DC character. It's the same strategy that they've been doing. But see, as a Batman fan, I can't be too mad, but objectively, I'm like, here they go again. They be fucking up all these other characters, and they got to run back to Batman.
We got to go back to Mr. Fix It. They're the real Mr. Fix It.
Yeah, it's kind of too much Batman. I'm not saying don't do no Batman content. It's just obviously is obvious. It's a little too much because the Batman movie for Gunn's universe is dropping after that. So it's like,
we're not gonna get that. Once the Batman 2 come out, we ain't getting no Batman from James Gunn. It's a wrap.
Now, rumor.
No, we still are, but it's just too much of it. It's like because it's like this, right? If you're gonna let Batman also have another universe with movies, you kind of got to do the same with even, let's say, Superman. Like, for example, and this shouldn't be being fair to even probably. Not even to the Snyder people, but like, if that's the case, then there could be room for Henry Cavill to be Superman if you're going to let Robert Pattinson be Batman.
Absolutely not. What you could do with
James canceled a bunch of DC pro. He couldn't cancel the Batman already under contract.
Yeah.
Hold on. But I would say this though. I definitely would like to see Henry Cavill come into the DCU as a different character at some point. I think that would be really cool because I think he would be a dope villain. Maybe bring him back as Zod. That'd be cool. I would like to see
Henry
that.
Cavill back as Zod.
Yeah.
I actually kind of want to see what it would look like.
You know what, man? Hey, man, look. Shout out to Henry, but I don't know what it is. It seemed like he is cursed. It's like everywhere he goes,
So it might be just a him problem. So it's like it might just be him, and now they're like,
I said the same thing, man. I said, what's up with Henry Cavill? This dude got no good luck.
But check this out though. Look at the Highlander movie, right? On paper, it sounds amazing, right? You got Henry Cavill, yep, and then you got Chad Stahelski who did the John Wick films. So I'm like, the fighting gonna be awesome. But the question is anybody gonna spend money on Highlander?
Yeah. And also, can Henry actually lead in that? Because I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen Henry Cavill do no acting like I've seen Robert Pattinson do acting. I've seen more and more Robert Pattinson films.
I've seen him do it. I've seen him do it twice, K. Dot. I'll give you two examples: Immortals and Argyle. That's where you see Henry Cavill do most of his acting.
Okay,
I got a question though. How would you?
He was. Cool
how would you?
Oh, sorry, Purp. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying. How would y'all feel as if we get the announcement of DCU Batman and that's played by Henry Cavill?
Nah.
Hell
You know what? Like I'm gonna be honest. The only reason why now I would see how it plays out, but I would hate that because WB they really screwed him over as Superman. It was like they got a lot of fools over there, a lot of clowns, right? So I feel like if they bring him back as Batman, that would be so distasteful. It's like, man, so what they gonna do? Mess him up as Batman too? Like because his luck is so bad. And over there at WB,
It'd be big as hell.
Right? Anytime something don't work or they get backlash, they cancel stuff and rearrange it. It's like they don't know how to handle themselves from a business standpoint. You know, they ain't got, you know, what Kevin Feige used to be. You know, they ain't got nothing like that over there.
Yeah, that's and don't get me wrong, I'm not opposed to Henry Cavill coming back as another character. I mean, hell, if Jason Momoa can come back as Lobo after playing Aquaman for 2 movies, then Henry Cavill could come back and play somebody else, but not Batman.
Hey, Jason Momoa is different because Jason Momoa as Aquaman made $1 billion, the most made fun of character in comic book history, made more money than most Marvel movies. That's why he is different. Henry Cavill can't even touch the kind of money that Jason Momoa made.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I mean, but you would think that would make it harder to cast him as Lobo because it's like, well, everybody knows him from Aquaman, so to cast him as Lobo would be kind of, you know what I mean? Because he's more well known for playing Aquaman. So being that Henry Cavill didn't make as much money, you know, it should be an easier transition to put him as another character. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. I agree with you, Rashad. It is an easier transition, but I feel like Henry Cavill got that Superman curse. We all know what time it is with the Superman curse. I feel like out of everybody, after Christopher Reeve, he probably got it the worst, man. I don't know. Like, it's something wrong.
Poor bastard.
Yeah, because that's the thing. If you're like, for example, like Robert Pattinson, he's now to people, and based off and going off the second movie, if it's really good, he's about to be it. His Batman is about to probably take over what people think of when they think of Robert Pattinson. First thing they might think is Batman, but Robert Pattinson has a lot of range with his acting too,
and he has a lot of hit movies too. Like Robert Pattinson is over all the ones that we just mentioned. Easy, it ain't even no comparison.
And you can also work with him more on different things. Someone like Henry, right? Like for example, I'm not saying he wouldn't do it. But we've always seen Henry as a big buff dude in almost every movie he's seen.
Right.
Like I'm not saying he can't do it, but would he really transform his body to, like, let's say star in a movie about where he's playing like an anorexic person dealing with some, you know, with some disease that's making his body shrink, like 50 Cent did. Remember when 50 Cent did that movie and
that nobody watched.
that nobody watched. I'm not. But yeah. 50 Cent for the role was willing to dedicate himself to do that.
Right.
You know, a lot of people are probably not.
Respect.
Henry Cavill would do that. You know why? Because when they casted him as Geralt in The Witcher, right now, granted that's still a huge character, but the point is that Henry locked in. You know, he did all of his homework and stuff. Like I feel like if Henry Cavill wants to do a role, he will give 110%. But that doesn't change the fact that he just seemed to have bad luck, man. Like we can't get around that. Like I have no doubt that he would change his body and play a character. That's not the issue. It's the financial. Because no matter what anybody says, if it ain't making money, it don't make no sense. It's a business first, and Henry Cavill don't bring in no money.
But I'm glad you brought up Witcher because that's a good point. And even for Witcher, and this would be fair to Henry, the studio. He couldn't really get what he wanted because the studio was like, no, we want to deviate from this source material and do something different, which they can do if they want to. But it's like when stuff like that comes up, it makes it even harder to work with somebody because eventually Henry left. So now they go like, dang, we got to replace our actor. We got to replace our lead actor. But it's like when the studio does stuff like that, they put even the actors who are so invested into these products into a harder position because, like, dang, you're trying to change this, but is this change really good? I think people would rather want this, and maybe the change might be good if people have to see the change and see it work. But Henry was correct. And you should have listened to him. Like, don't deviate from the Witcher source material.
Right.
People be heavy about their book lore. People be heavy about that book lore.
K-Dot, but here's the thing though, like, so if I were with Henry, like if I were his friend and he was like, man, T, I'm gonna walk away because they're deviating from the source material, I'm like, hey, I'm with you. I always want to beat the fuck out of somebody when they mess up source material. But you got to be careful though, because if you anger those clowns in Hollywood, they're gonna blackball the hell out of you. And I'm like, look, Henry, I gotta be honest with you, man. You got a curse. Like, can you really afford to be blackballed on top of a curse? Like, I don't think so.
Yeah, and see that's the thing too. If Henry if Henry had a better manager to work out his deals better, he could be at the point where he could be like a Robert Downey Jr. status type of actor, where you can literally ask, like, you can step into a room full of bosses and make the bosses give you what you want, even though they are.
Yeah, you mean an acting agent? Yeah, they trained us about it when I was a kid when I went to acting school. If you have a trash acting agent, you ain't going nowhere. You're done.
Because look at prime example Black Adam. Henry, and mind you, it's shocking to me how Henry just remember that day Henry made that post after Black Adam, making everyone think he's returning. Like, bro, and mind you, to us, when the audience sees something like that coming from the actor, they're thinking the actor is 100% accurate on that, but he wasn't. He was hoping he was going to come back, and he just posted that. And The Rock probably told him to post that. And then The Rock probably got a call later saying, "Ooh, Henry, everything didn't work out, Henry."
No, but that's not in that situation. That's not Henry's fault because Dwayne.
I'm not saying this is fault. I'm just saying Henry knows that these Hollywood deals are shaky, and at any moment they can pull back on a contract, or the contract may not get continued. But he should have been a little bit more responsible with the audience and not even doing something like that, because he knows that WB already fucked him over.
He was just really excited because Dwayne Johnson fought to give us comic book accurate Superman. He was the only one over there that was trying to do the source material, and he was supposed to lead DC, not James Gunn. But when Black Adam failed, they took that away. They took it away. You know, he was going to give us Black Adam versus Superman, you know, then that would have brought in Shazam and Superman versus Black Adam. And I was like, man,
I'm still mad about that. I took my son to see that shit. We were both like my son was so excited, like, we're gonna get Black Adam versus Superman.
Yep. Yeah, well, and I'll be honest with you, and you guys, I'll be honest with you. The Rock,
it would probably been bad.
When they pitched Black Adam, The Rock should have just, even though it would have not made sense at that point, that DC universe at that point, they were holding on to they were grasping onto straws at that point. But The Rock should have just did a Black Adam versus Superman movie, because he was able to get back Henry Cavill for a post-credit scene. Just do a Black Adam versus Superman movie. Black Adam can be the antagonist, and at the end of the movie, I don't know, they don't kill each other, but Superman goes like, Black Adam, you don't have to fully be evil, because Black Adam is a morally great character. He's not completely evil.
Yeah, he couldn't do that though. Like when he spoke to Kevin Hart, the whole point was he had to prove to them that he knew what he was doing with DC. Like if Black Adam worked, they was gonna give him the keys to the empire, and that's why he had Henry in the mid credits. He was like, man, if we do this and we got Henry in this bright red suit and stuff, everybody will be on board. And then he was going to do Black Adam versus Superman for the sequel.
Oh no, I'm not.
I heard, from what I heard, Rock was like being real diva-ish, and you know, he was he promised the Rock didn't deliver. Yeah, Rock being the Rock, you know, I gotta have this, gotta have that, but you know, assuming that Black Adam was gonna bank, and it didn't. And when that happened, it said, take your diva ass up out of here.
But now, so with
that The Rock was neglecting Shazam, also, like, I get it. I want Black Adam versus Superman, but Black Adam is a Shazam villain, you know.
Like, but with bringing it back to Batman, And now with like Clayface being attached to the DCU Batman, and there's rumors of Batman not being in it, does that change your excitement or your hype for this movie at all? For me personally, it doesn't, because I was always sold on the fact that like Mike Flanagan's name was attached to this. That was just first and foremost before anything got even going. I was just like, oh shit, he's doing a fucking Clayface movie. Okay, I'm sold. That I don't need to.
Well, perfect. They're going to handle it like they have been so far, because even in Creature Commandos, when we saw Batman in that one episode, he was cloaked in shadow. If he does show up in the Clayface film, it's probably going to be like that, because I think they're waiting until production of CEU Batman show us what the Batman is going to look like. Because I like all the other DC characters, but the DCU Batman entrance has to be done correctly.
I like the fact that they're building up for it.
Batman entrance, it all has to be epic. The Supergirl, the Batmobile reveal we will get, the trailer, like everything has to be marketed and done accordingly.
James Gunn, stay away from Batman. I don't want him touching Batman. I am so fucking worried about that. I am so worried about that. No, hell no.
We're only 2 movies in. Why is everybody panicking with just 2 movies in?
It's not just 2 movies. It's 4 projects.
It's 2 movies though. Like that's what people are really like. That's what people are like. Those are going to be the main. Those are the main event films. Just like how we got Marvel. Like you got the Marvel Cinematic shit. You got just the regular TV stuff. But like people are tuning in for the movies. You know what I'm saying? We're only 2 movies in.
Glad that WB made him cancel a lot of his projects, because that shit was chaotic to begin with. I'm like, that's not how you build a DC shared universe. What are you doing? So Clayface will probably be cool because it'll be a horror film, and it seems like they're gonna go
origin.
Yeah, it seems like they're gonna go with Basil Carlo, because they can do Basil Carlo or Matt Hagen. Doesn't really matter which one. Like they're all cool, but because I know the different interpretations of Clayface, I'm just going to pay attention to see how they do him, because then that'll give me a better idea with how they're going to handle Batman's villains, because Batman has the best villains. And if you fuck up his villains, I don't think you can handle Batman. So,
what Terrence, I was gonna chime in and say that, I said I'm not worried about seeing Batman and Clayface, just because Batman's villains are so compelling. Like Batman's has the only villain catalog that can get away with having the villains have their own movies and the hero ain't got to be a part of it, as opposed to like say Spider-Man, you do Craven and Morbius and all that shit. It doesn't work without Spider-Man. And then Spider-Man has some dope villains, but it doesn't work without Spider-Man. But Batman's villains are so fucking compelling. You can have Joker and Penguin without Batman, and it works, And I think the same would be for Clayface.
Right. But you agree with me on the last stream that we had about this. It's like, yes, it can work. You can do stuff like Joker and Penguin and Clayface. You can have it work. But the reason why I'm hyper against that is because when one of those works, they continue to do that. I don't want that to become a trend. To me,
but that's just the unfortunate nature of Hollywood, regardless of like what it even like. Look at it like I look at Infinity War as like the biggest catalyst of just why everything is fucked up right now. Budgets, everything. You know what I'm saying? Because after those movies came out, it was a wrap. But then it came out at the wrong time because everything was fucked up, like everything shut down. But if everything kept going the way it was, if like the world didn't fucking stop, I feel like a lot of these movies would be way more successful and probably wouldn't have like a lot of discussions about overinflated budgets and shit, but like I feel like that was really the start of that shit.
Even during the pandemic, we had a bunch of movies that made money. So like Ryan Gosling said, right? Shout out to him, because when I was breaking down the box office, like Project Hail Mary was initially a flop, and then it made hundreds of millions of dollars out of nowhere. I was covering that in real time. But he's like the only celebrity that had the intelligence to say, if you don't come out to see our movies, we failed you. We're supposed to entice you to go spend your money. If you don't spend your money, we didn't do our job. I was like, how come more celebrities can't say that? It has nothing to do with what time period it is, as much as it is, are humans excited? Because during the height of the pandemic, humans saw 3 Spider-Man and they were like, hey, 1.9 billion. they saw Dominic Toretto and Godzilla versus Kong and stuff. They went to see them because it excited them. So the excitement is what's missing. It's not about, is the movie great? A movie can be great and not make money, but it's like, if you want your movie to be financially successful, you have to generate excitement.
Well, let's.
I agree. And that's why, if it wasn't for Purp, I wanted to see Supergirl, because I was gonna skip, because I was excited to see Supergirl, but because of this panel tonight, I was like, man, I gotta go see this shit.
But what were you gonna say, Dot? What you gonna say?
Just to bounce off of Purp's point real quick too. Well, and I don't fully disagree with not with Terrence. I don't fully disagree. But I don't disagree with Purp's point either. And this is me looking at it from both perspectives, but mainly looking at it from Purp's perspective, because I'm also looking at the whole reality of everything around us that's just shifting and changing. Streaming.
Mm-hmm.
Streaming has conditioned so many people to the point to where they are being very selective with their money now, a little bit more so than it used to be. And like No Way Home is a prime example of, you give us so much incentive to want to leave the house. Because I'm not gonna lie, during 2020, even when the theaters in my city closed down during COVID, I still didn't care to go to a theater that was even a couple miles away. Like, if I can't go to my own home theater, I'm not gonna go to no theaters at all. And during that same year, I believe Godzilla versus Kong came out, was 2021.
And it also
that was the only
Dune came out.
Dune, but Godzilla versus Kong was the only film that year that did good on streaming and in theaters. Right. The other films kind of like underperformed, which they had no control over. Too many theaters were closed, so those movies can't even make box office money. But
it was crazy how much they made at that time, even in the midst of the shit. Like,
like Hollywood and Warner Brothers and all these companies already kind of conditioned people to stay at home. So Hollywood put themselves in this pickle. They conditioned people to stay at home.
You could also reverse that. That's why I've been trying to I've been doing less like streaming services, and the only subscription service I have is the AMC. I got the A-list. So I'm going out more. Like, you know what I'm saying? We could do the reverse, but people just, choose not to.
That A-list is a game changer, bro. That A-list is a game changer for sure.
So look. The best example is, aside from Spider-Man No Way Home, was the Batman. I remember when they were like, yep, the trailer's dropping. It was like, the nigga from Twilight? Like, we ain't trying to see that shit. And then the trailer dropped.
They weren't familiar with his game. They weren't familiar with Pattinson.
I was in the same shit. I was like, man, the sparkly vampire.
The majority of humans don't watch every movie. The majority of humans pick and choose, right? So their perception of him was Twilight. We can't look at it from like how all of us, we just watch a bunch of movies. Like, most humans ain't doing that. They gonna pick and choose, and usually it's gonna be the blockbuster films. And Batman is a blockbuster dude. But it's like, at first they were hesitant. This was during the height of the pandemic. They saw that trailer and that shit made over 700 million while humans were hiding under their beds. See, when you have something that generates excitement, the world could be dying. They gonna go to the theater if they excited. We've already seen that. It don't matter what's happening.
You got to create
right.
Exclusivity as an example. Exclusivity creates incentive. Is it completely good? No, it depends on the product. Like, look at Grand Theft Auto 6. Imagine Grand Theft Auto 6 only released on PlayStation. It would be a financial failure.
But I also feel like when people just get so hyper focused on the numbers and they want to see the blockbuster. Everybody wants to see a great blockbuster, but it's like they're not always the best movies. The best movies are like the smaller films, the smaller films that people call fucking pretentious and weird and stuff. These are the films that you want, that are original and creative and stuff like that, and you start to see them really emerging now.
I agree, but that's why I said it's not like, just because a movie makes a bunch of money doesn't necessarily mean that it's a great film. But that's why I said, if your movie makes money because it's a business first, it's because you generated excitement. These smaller movies, as great as they may be, with amazing casts, and you, me, and Rashad and some others, we talk about it for 10 hours straight. It doesn't change the fact that nobody gave a fuck. Like, they got to give a fuck to spend money, regardless of the quality of the movie.
Yeah, and also,
But at the same, go ahead, and then I'll go.
And Purp, this is even more so to agree with you, because this is how I even care about when it comes to box office now. I'm at the point in this with all these companies, all these big wig companies, Warner Brothers, Netflix, whatever. They got way more money than me and many of us. They can make whatever they want. And when I saw Avatar 3 as of recent, which I thought was good, but Avatar 3 made less than Avatar 2. Avatar 3 has a bigger budget than Avatar 2. Avatar 2 made well over its budget. Follow me on this. Avatar 3 has a bigger budget but made less money, but still made over $1 billion. But they're making Avatar 4. But in order to make Avatar 4, you need to make more. You need to make more than your budget, correct?
Yeah, you got to make 3 times your budget.
Okay, so follow me just a little bit, guys. I'm not saying Avatar 3 is bad or did not make money, but it's crazy how Avatar 2 made over $2 billion. Avatar 3 makes less than $2 billion.
But you also got to think like that's not like. But you also got to think about like the box office is not the only way these companies make money. They have all these other deals that nobody talks about or covers and stuff that like makes up for a lot of the shit too over time.
But here's a problem though. It's like Carl Urban, right? When he did Dredd is still better than the vast majority of comic book movies. Easy. Like that Dredd movie was amazing. But it failed, right? So every time Carl Urban goes to a convention, even when he went to talk about Mortal Kombat 2, there's always a bunch of humans that ask him, when is Dredd 2 coming out? It's been like that since that movie dropped. That's how, because after the movie came out, when the word of mouth spread, that ended up being the #1 selling DVD and Blu-ray. That's the glow up that it had after the fact. And Carl Urban has been saying the same thing that a lot of humans don't like to hear, which is you guys should have went to see it in the theater. The studio is not going to make it because to them, the movie failed. So it's not going to make money. They don't want to make it. They want to make
and that's what I was going to bring up, Terrence, because you got to draw excitement, but also the audience members, like I feel like, are also boring. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all, you want new things, but you're not willing to like get out of your comfort zone to go watch these things. Or there's plenty. Like right now, when I look at like the landscape of just everything, movies, TV, anime, it's incredible. Like the quality that is out there, but like. If you just look at the internet or a certain perspective or a certain channel, you would think there's no good movies, there are not any good shows or any good fucking anime. Like, bro, it couldn't be further from the truth.
But the thing is, but again, though, you're different though. Like even like I would probably say 70% of my friends, they're not looking for everything. It's like they got to see a trailer, somebody got to tell them something. They just don't know about a lot of stuff, right? So it's going to be in the vicinity. That's why the idea of hype is important. So since 2017, right? At the time when I told humans, they thought I was crazy because they don't understand hype, right? They're like, because when It 2017 made over 700 million, I was like, there will never be a horror movie that will ever come close to this. They thought I was crazy. We're in 2026, and I would ask them again. I was like, didn't I tell you I was right? They're like, yeah, but these other horror movies, they had hype. I was like, yeah, Sinners, Obsessed, Backrooms, we could do this all day. Weapons, none of them came close. The hype is crazy. If that translates to ticket sales, that will ascend you beyond the stars. But again, it has to do with that excitement. So humans got to talk about it. In order for them to talk about it, they got to know about it.
Well, no, not just that. There's a lot of hold on. There's a lot of variables that kind of goes into this too. You got to think also, you have marketing, advertising, because like a movie like Dredd, I don't remember that movie really like being marketed like that much. You know what I'm saying? Like there wasn't that many TV spots. There wasn't a lot of, there wasn't a lot of marketing for that movie. And also too, what hurts a movie's box office is the show times. And for example, The Furious, which is my personal favorite movie this year so far. But I've heard from a lot of people that said they wanted to see the movie, but it was only playing like at 2 times, at like 7 o'clock and at 10 o'clock.
That's true.
We had,
So,
out here, right? Like we had it at 3 times, Rashad, right? But the thing is, The Furious is a martial arts movie, right? 99% of martial arts movies, they don't play well in terms of making money. There's always an audience
well,
for
here in the
them.
States, here in the
Right.
States.
There's always an audience for them. But
Mhm.
because they really just did a crazy amount of them in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and early 2000s, the majority of individuals, especially in the States, they're like, we've already seen that. So you would
Well,
need
I mean,
to
I just use that as an example. I mean, I know martial arts movies not going to make like a whole. I'm just saying,
You
advertising and showtimes really kind of make or break a movie. Okay, I'll give you
no,
another example.
you make a good make a good point. Hold on, like, but Rashad makes a good point because even like something like Leviticus, that's a new horror movie. It's very highly rated, just like Obsession. You know, see those were two movies like last year that people came out like festivals really talking about. But like, are they suppressing? Because around my area, you can only see Leviticus in like one theater, and it's only playing like it only has like 3 showtimes. So it's like, are they suppressing that because it's a queer story, or it's like
Oh
it's
yeah,
weird to them?
it's not good. And I'll give you another.
No, hey, Hollywood is suppressing nothing that's in that side of the community. Hell no, they be
Yeah.
loving it.
Hold on, but I'm gonna give you another good example. Black Dynamite. I remember when I saw the trailer for Black Dynamite. Yo, me and my brother was like, yo, we gotta see this movie, right? But it wasn't. It had like a limited release. It wasn't marketed really. Like there was no ads for it or nothing. But to this day, that's like one of the illest comedies ever made. But nobody saw it when it came out because
Another one.
Hollywood picks and
There wasn't
chooses.
enough money put into it to like really strongly market it, but that's kind of all they had to work with. To be fair, with Black Dynamite, but it is now a certified classic in the Black community.
Right.
And I think it's still, and I think it's still going to be to separate like Hollywood. It's still going to be harder for like well, we're starting to see a lot of indie filmmakers just come up and arise, like just be able to make a real huge smash. It's still going to be harder for people that don't already have like we take Obsession or the guy that made Obsession, Curry and yeah, when you got him and Kane Pixels, whatever, that made Backrooms and stuff, they already had like an existing kind of presence online and stuff. So it's gonna still be hard for like the it's not gonna be super hard, but I think it has opened that door for a lot more of those types of creatives to come.
I agree.
And start making.
And I agree, but see, like I was just telling humans, don't misunderstand me, right? I'm like, Obsession, that shit made a stupid ass amount of money. You know, that made hundreds of millions of profit. But the whole point of me mentioning it is because that's the top of the mountain. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to make over 700 million for your horror film to be successful. But in terms of the conversation of, is something going to surpass that? You would have to not only generate the same level of excitement, but more to surpass that financially. And nobody's been able to do that. That's my point.
I think with it that was lightning in a bottle also because
and Stephen King.
Number one, it already had a following, you know, because of the TV series. And then it had universal appeal because it had that 80s nostalgic shit. You know what I'm saying? And it felt like a family film almost. You know, the whole family can go see it.
That trailer that You'll Float.
The first trailer.
When that You'll Float 2 was going around after the trailer release, that also helped it.
The marketing for that movie was crazy. And look who's behind it, fucking Warner Brothers.
And check this out though. It's not just that, it's also, see, like Obsession and these different horror films, they can pull in the individuals that are already watching horror. Even though it's a lot, it's still a limited audience. It was able to pull in the grandmother across the street. It got the attention of my auntie, who doesn't even like horror films. She ain't.
Like I said, universal appeal. Yeah.
Right.
But you know what's exciting about that though, Terrence, though, is that, you know, even though with Backrooms and Obsession, horror is in such a great space that like we can possibly get a brand new like original horror movie to hit those heights, to hit like a 500 million or, you know, we could possibly get that $1 billion horror movie one day. I think it's very that's in a very
Yeah.
near future.
But here's
Reese's
the
been out
thing,
for the
though, right?
longest.
So, but here's the thing, though. 2017, we're in 2026. None have come close to it. And then also, if you want to scratch out it, I'm like, you still got to remember Sixth Sense, how much money that shit made. World War Z with Brad Pitt. I'm like, before you get to it, you got to beat World War Z with Brad Pitt in the Sixth Sense. So
I
you
think
got
the
to.
one that could match it. I think the one that could match it is if they bring back if they give us an Elm Street. You know what I'm saying? I think that'll be the last one that has that chance to kind of
Yeah.
as far as something that's recognizable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And make it legit.
If Joker,
Hell, hold on, Terrence. Even I think maybe even with this new Exorcist, that could very much likely. We never know. That could strike lightning, and that could hit lightning in a bottle.
If it's good.
The last one flopped. The last one that they had, that was
But the last one didn't have Mike Flanagan directing. You know what I'm saying? So
here's what I'll tell you. So you got all the right ingredients with The Exorcist or Elm Street or even my boy Jason. At most, I'm capping it at 400 million. It's not touching the Sixth Sense or World War Z or it. And I still maintain, and I've still been right. Nothing is beating it. It hasn't. So I'll believe that when I see it.
Hey, if Joker won with a little bit more horror, it would have been the 2019 horror film that could have been,
But Joker's not a horror film though. Even though it made $1 billion, that's not.
you know what hasn't been tried yet that I think would be kind of like the loophole in it is if somebody made an animated horror movie, like a straight up maybe we get an Evil Dead animated horror. That'd be so fucking fire, man.
That would be cool. But here's what would happen. It would be the same thing with Miles Morales Spider-Man. The first movie come out great, winning Oscars, but humans were still hesitant because animation is different. But then the second movie made more. I feel like just not going to hit the same levels as a live action. It's just live action is just different.
Yeah,
all right. Let me go ahead, kid, because I'm gonna go shift things into Supergirl because I forgot.
And
I didn't realize we're running out of time.
I wanted to throw this into the box office mix that we're talking about and how the box office isn't truly the determining factors with these movies now. But the way with the system Hollywood has set up now, movies have lesser runtime in the box office. But now a movie I liked in 2025 that I really freaking loved was Predator Badlands. While it did make money and we are going to get some more films out of it, I'm kind of glad it did go to streaming still, and people tuned in the day it dropped. It was number one on streaming on Amazon the whole weekend on Amazon Prime Video. But I wish it was in theaters longer because it could have made more. It could have been the first Predator film to make over 300 something, 500 something, but they kept it in there not long enough. And I understand it's Predator. The franchise has not been that consistent in the box office. But
the only reason they did it is because it didn't match their metrics, right? Like the plan was to leave it in there longer, but when that shit hit 184.6 million, when the budget was 105, they released a bunch of articles saying that that's not what they expected. They expected that to hit over 230 million at the least.
Yeah. Well, and see, that's why they should have. And mind you, it's Disney, right? Disney has no excuse for not having the money to put it in theaters long. They have no excuse to say that we don't have enough money to market this movie any harder or do anything.
Most Disney movies get the 100 days.
Disney is scared though. They've been losing hundreds of millions of dollars over the last 5 years between Marvel and Star Wars. You don't want to see how much money they've lost.
Oh no, yeah, no. No. Don't get me wrong. I know they lost a lot of money. The point I'm saying is this: Disney has the money. They're just they just pick and choose, and they pick and choose where they want to allocate that money. They'll allocate that money to something that's not popping like that,
right?
But give less money to something that needs more money. Because I'm sorry, Predator is. Yes, it's an inconsistent franchise, but it's a known franchise. All they had to do is just put more money into it, put more money into the marketing, keep in the theaters a little bit longer, force people to come out of their homes to go to the theaters. Force people. That's what you have to
Right.
do.
It's vastly
Imperfect.
and it has a lot of potential to be amazing, but I don't know, man. Y'all should be struggling out here in these streets.
Perfect segue into our last topic. No mean to cut y'all off, but
That's all good.
just want to kind of get to this. It was good talk, but let's get into the Supergirl talk to kind of wrap things up. To kind of give you my thoughts because I didn't do any like review or nothing like that. You know, going into it, I really didn't have no like expectations. You know, I was excited to see it because I like Supergirl as a character. Every time I see her, just in animation, she be doing some dog shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's all I want to see her do some. You know what I'm saying? Do some shit. I don't. I'm not expecting the moon. With this movie, it did it. It did what it needed to do for me. It was entertaining. It what me I wanted to see more of Corn Sweat Superman and also Millie Alcock. You know what I'm saying? And I personally have been liking how they've been kind of setting up the universe because they've already established, certain things and just laying the groundwork. We're just really early into this universe, so I'm liking it, so far, and now getting to see the movie like twice now. Um, I don't know how it's gonna figure how it's all gonna land on my list by the time we get to the end of the year because my list always frequently changes, but it's still pretty high on my list. And does it have issues? Yeah, I could definitely acknowledge that for sure. But none of those like kind of issues kind of really took me out of the movie. And it's just weird kind of seeing the discourse surrounding this movie and how this kind of seems to be like the playbook with a lot of these movies, or just how people just kind of come up with these grifts. Like it's like there's no way you're sitting there saying like this is the worst movie of the year. It's just like you clearly haven't seen every single movie, or just even seeing something like kind of going off topic, like with John Campia going off on like Scream 7. It's just I don't understand, some people's reaction to it. Like, yeah, like honestly, like if you genuinely like didn't like the movie, that's one thing. But like for the people that already were going to come into this movie hating the movie, it's just weird. And it's just very odd to me, man. But overall, I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It'll probably end up like leveling out to like 3.5 because that's where I was kind of like teetering. But what it was interesting is both times that I saw the movie, it was a packed crowd, and both crowds cheered. So I don't know what that was. That was interesting. You know what I'm saying? It lets me know that it's just like, yo, the internet and like actually going into these theaters with the people is a completely different, experience. And like that's why I'm always big on people just going to see these movies and not always just going off of stupid Rotten Tomato scores that like I don't understand why we still going off of that shit, knowing how inconsistent or how just, that shit can be manipulated. Um it's just weird how we just talk about movies, especially like comic book movies. It's just like either like if you really enjoyed yourself with this movie, you're a shill. If you didn't, then you're this or just then that. You can't be in the middle. You have to choose a side, and it shouldn't be like that. You know what I'm saying? But that's just kind of my 2 cents in it. I want to start off with K Dot because you just saw Supergirl not too long ago, so it's kind of fresh in your mind. What was just your overall thoughts about this movie, like going in and just coming out of it now and stuff?
Well, I know we're not stepping into spoiler territory yet, but just to keep it very
No,
simple.
go ahead, go spoil the shit out of it. I don't give a fuck.
I'm gonna keep it simple. I know something I'm talking about is gonna be into a deeper discussion, but as far as what I liked about the film, I did like Millie Alcock as Kara. I like that even in the second half of the film, it started getting a little bit more serious, which I did like. I like the Kryptonian flashbacks. If I had to be very clear about what I dislike, and it's more of the technical stuff with the movie, the special effects to me were on point. My issues were, for example, the music, some of the action sequences, cutting away too much from certain punches. Like, do some longer takes with your fights. You don't need to do that cutting away from punching. Like, we want to see all the punches. You know, with Superman characters, from Superman family, they're action oriented family. You cannot just keep running away from punches and stuff. This is also an action movie that we're coming to. I also, another thing I did dislike, the villain. Underwhelming. He didn't talk enough. He was strong. They showed us he was strong, but Supergirl mopped the floor with him when she came back. She mopped the floor with him. Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about. She mopped the floor with his ass. And I'm like,
pretty good.
That's what I came to see.
And I'm like, okay, now she's just too. Next time, if you're going to pick a villain for a Superman type of character, the villain either has to be very smart or super strong. They can't just be slightly strong and that's it. Like, they can't be Captain America level strength and not even be smart enough to kind of outwit the main character who's strong enough to, blow up a planet with her laser vision.
I'll add something to that, but once I gives you the thoughts.
The villain was underwhelming. The music choice for some scenes were not that strong to me, and the action scenes needed a better director for those action sequences. But overall, this director for the Supergirl movie, if you're gonna do a sequel, get a new director. This guy, I don't know about him. This director specifically, he clearly was copied and was mimicking Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy in a way. But if that's the case, James Gunn, you should have just directed it then, because it was clearly your style. Like, he should have just directed it, because at least I will say this: all the jokes would have at least been funny. Because in the first half of the movie, I'm not gonna hold y'all, too many of them jokes were not funny. I'm like, ooh, this is too many jokes that are not funny. Ugh, ew. Like, I was turned off by that. I did like the movie though, but I'm in the middle with this movie. It's not something I hate. Or
that's it. That's an interesting take.
This movie to me is literally average. Like, it's just average. It's nothing bad, but it also isn't something like Iron Man 2 levels bad or Iron Man 3 levels bad.
Damn, Iron Man catches.
It's not a masterpiece at all. It is far from a masterpiece. It's just okay.
Rashad.
All right. Well, I went into this movie with extremely low expectations, so I think that's what really caused my enjoyment, because I was expecting to hate this movie. I was trying to hate the movie, and as I'm watching it, I'm like, this shit ain't half bad, man. I mean, like K-Dot said, no masterpiece. It's not great, but I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I was going to enjoy it. I was entertained. I guess this is a hot take. I enjoyed it more than last year's Superman, because at least in this movie, she didn't get her ass handed to her for 75% of the movie like Superman did. You know what I'm saying? And then when she showed up and did Supergirl shit, she showed the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Superman was taking all kind of L's. So I was entertained. For the practical effects, the fights. I mean, some of the pacing was a little slow at times, but overall, I really dug this joint, man. Like, you girl that plays Supergirl, I thought she did a really good job. I guess I'm just a sucker for stories about redemption. Being that she was a drunk and she had no purpose in life, and then she finds purpose, she finds a way, then she dons the suit, and then she becomes the best version of herself. I'm a sucker for stories like that. You know what I'm saying? So I think I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I was, and I think I enjoyed it more than most people did, because some people are really shitting on this movie, which I know is a perfect segue to the next contestant that's gonna speak on this movie. But yeah, overall, I dug it. Man. It's not my top 10 at all, but I dug it. I thought it was cool.
You gotta let
saving the best for last.
Before Terrence go, I will say this. I know Terrence is about to vent, but they should have chose a better Supergirl comic to pick off of for this movie. I am not against a Supergirl movie, but they should have chose a different comic. Go ahead, Terrence.
Wait, before Terrence says, I know Terrence about to go in. I just want to say this too. I'm very understanding to the people that do know the comics and didn't like what they did with the movie, because I'm the same way. If I'm very familiar with the source material and they like stray away from it, I'll be pissed off too. But being that I never read a Supergirl comic. The last time I saw a Supergirl in the comic, Doomsday fucked her up in '93. That's the last time I saw a Supergirl in the comic. So I really have no knowledge of the character. So I'm very understanding how people can be pissed off about the movie. But go ahead, bro.
As a lifelong fan of Supergirl, I fucking hate this movie. I absolutely fucking hate it. So number one, when they announced that they were going to do Woman of Tomorrow, which is by far the worst Supergirl storyline, I was like, well, they're going to change it because that story is just a bunch of exposition. It's really boring. So I was like, okay, maybe if they change it into something, this could be an opportunity to where the movie can be better than the comics, which doesn't happen 99% of the time. So I was like, okay, let's see. So then I saw the trailer, didn't like the trailer. I was like, okay, let's see what happens. You know, I'm not gonna pay for it, but I'll watch it for free. So I was like, yep, I'll get a movie a chance. And I watched it and I was like, so you did Woman of Tomorrow, but you somehow made it with a Guardians of the Galaxy aesthetic. So I was like, okay, I'll just go through the rest of the movie. And the way that Supergirl was presented was very distasteful to me and disrespectful because I know the character. I'm like, this is not what they should have gone with. And Krim, who's supposed to be a buff redhead character, they turned him into a background generic Guardians of the Galaxy character, which is kind of weird because in the comic book, Krim is better in Woman of Tomorrow, even though he's trash in there. So somehow they made him worse, which surprised me because I was like, well, he ain't that good, so they'll probably make him way better. He might even be the highlight of the movie. Man, the lady across the street from my house is a better villain than Krim. Like, there's some stuff that my neighbor does. You just could swear that she into all kinds of crazy stuff. They should have put her in the movie to fight Supergirl. Shout out to my neighbor. But when you think about, like, say, Action Comics 252, where Supergirl is first introduced, if they would have did that, the average person, which are the humans that watched the movie, the few that did, because we all know this shit about to flop, they would have been more impressed because the backstory in there is so traumatizing and so scary. That could have been like a mini horror film. Like the idea of, okay, so Krypton blows up, right? And then a piece of the planet is spared, right? So Zor-El is there. Kara's not born yet. And all of a sudden, that piece starts to turn into kryptonite. So Zor-El uses his genius mind. They cover it with lead. They're like, cool, we can live our lives. Fast forward, Kara's born. She grows up, and then all of a sudden, there's a meteor shower. It fucks up that piece of the planet, and then the kryptonite gets exposed again. And then at that point, all of the people, they start coughing up blood, choking, and dying. And then you get this precious moment where Kara's mother, she's like, we got to send you away. And I was just like, I was so captivated by that when I read it. I was like, oh, they got to get her out of here. Where they going to send her? And she was looking at all these planets. And then she was like, what about Earth? And Zor-El was like, yeah, we heard about Earth, but you want to send our daughter there? And then she was like kind of zeroing in with their technology to see what it was about. And then that's when they saw Superman. They was like, look at that. He got the House of L symbol. That's your cousin right there. You know, he's like the world's greatest hero. And then you see like a little tear leave her eye. She was like, okay, yeah, we got to go there. They made her outfit and they sent her away. And her parents choking to death, dying and shit right after she fucking took off. That shit would have been terrifying to see. I wanted to see that. Not the cheap shit that they did where they just kind of went over that very fast. I don't like that shit. So to me, they cheapened the audience out of a better, superior experience. So I didn't like how they handled the backstory. Supergirl didn't have a good personality to me. I was just like, can you just get to the fighting? The fighting was very boring to me. I was not entertained by that. So the only thing that I had left was, let me see how Lobo is. Because when I tell you that I love the Lobo character, man, like he's one of the coolest comic book characters of all time. Like he's a parody of Punisher and Wolverine. So I was like, man, this gonna be the highlight. I don't care if he got 2 minutes right here. So he comes on screen, and I remember just kind of leaning in to the screen, like, all right, what you gonna do? So as soon as he started talking and drinking and stuff, I was like, it's kind of mid. Like the one thing that I was excited about, you didn't do that much. And I was like, okay, it's PG-13, so they can't have him do a bunch of brutal R-rated stuff. But then again, you shouldn't have introduced them in this fucking movie. But they don't read comic books, so there you go. There's that shit. But then I was like, okay, let's see how he fights. So and then he gets knocked off his bike. He kind of reminded me of somehow you made a parody character, a parody of himself. I've never seen that before. I was like, this is it. And then that scene where they had him in a cell and stuff, I'm like, man, what the fuck is this? Like Lobo is supposed to be the main man. There shouldn't have been nobody in that movie that could touch him. It should have been to the point to where, you know, how they utilize shots when you see violence, but they kind of pan out. It should have been heads and limbs coming off, individuals going through buildings. Like when Supergirl
to your point,
when Supergirl was picking him up. Wait, go ahead.
No, I was saying to your point. I was like saying this. I was like, yo, like, because no motherfucker was getting bodied in this movie. I was just like, this makes me think like they was trying to make this movie rated R. If this movie was rated R, I think more people would be pleased with it. I think people get
it. And that's another thing, real quick. And I want to throw Terrence off. I want Terrence to get everything off. But that's what kind of threw me off about this movie compared to Superman 2025. This movie had a lot more. It seemed more adult, like adult themes going on. Like they literally had the whole plot was surrounded around like human trafficking, pretty much like a pretty dark situation. And I'm like, they might should have went in and made this rated R. Because Terrence is going for your point. I like Jason as Lobo, but the chance to make Lobo shine was those action scenes, and he didn't do enough punching for me. He was more so on his motorcycle too much.
That's because he didn't read no Lobo comic. Like they don't know what to do with these characters. I'm like, that would have been the perfect moment to show somebody that don't know shit. This is why we call him the main man. Like that dialogue.
It was the whoever they had directing the action of this film was the problem with the action, because
the action and the writing too. It was written by a 5-year-old. How you gonna have Supergirl say
it wasn't cool?
It's laughable. It fucking hurt my brain. Like forget the accuracy. I'm like, this shit is not a good movie. I was like, so how you gonna have Supergirl say like, oh man, he killed his entire people and all? I'm like, that's accurate. I'm glad y'all mentioned that. I was like, man, I was hoping that right after that he was going to.
I like that they said that.
I love that they said that. I was like, cool. The next thing should be him killing everybody in that bar. Like it should have just been the most savage, psychotic thing to make the audience piss their pants. And then after that, he has a drink and walks out. Like they didn't do none of that. At no point did I believe that he was psychotic. I'm like, that's not the dude that killed all his people. What the hell is this? Like, he was mid.
Powers enough. They didn't show his powers.
No, he was a derpy klutz. He was a fucking joke to me. Like he was mid. Like compared to what he should have been terrifying. Like there should have been some stuff where, you know, sure you kind of chuckle, but not because it's funny, but because you chuckle.
Who would you match him up if they were to make a solo Lobo movie? Who would you match him up directors wise? Who you think would be able to capture? You think that's something something they bring Zack Snyder back for? Like that get people
Wait,
back?
hold on.
To be honest with you, the person already works at the company right now, and he should have just directed this movie if they was going to do his aesthetic. James Gunn is not against doing R-rated stuff, and we already seen it, but he would have been better off directing this than the guy he chose.
Okay, so here's the thing, right?
At least the action would have been better.
Right. So because humans don't like listen to everything I say and they like hyper focus on one thing because that's what humans do. Like in the past, when James Gunn does what he's supposed to do with certain characters, like what he did with Creature Commandos, like I actually read that because that was something I didn't know about. I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I read it and I was like, oh, okay. Then I caught up before the show came out. But in terms of like Suicide Squad and stuff, I was like, okay, James, you did your thing. You can do weird ass shit, but just you don't know how to handle the whole universe because you need knowledge for that, right? So I wouldn't want him to direct Lobo because just now, granted, it'll be like R-rated, probably be a lot of dicks and stuff showing and stuff like that. But he just, to me, wouldn't know how to handle the complexities. Like I want somebody else to do it. So pick Purp, Rashad, pick any of them horror directors. Any of them can do Lobo. I don't care which one you pick. But my thing is that if you do that, and Jason Momoa said that if you're going to do a Lobo movie, he's only going to do it if it's R-rated. So shout out to Jason Momoa. At least he understands what he's playing. At least that's what it seems like. He's saying the right things. But we all know.
Shit, he been wanting to play Lobo since 1980. Shit, he been wanting to play Lobo forever, man.
Yeah, I understand. But it's just that these actors, they cap a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like when I actually listen to what
That's their job.
Yeah, I know they're full of shit, and when they are, I call them out. But the thing is that at least he said that it needs to be R-rated. I agree. It needs to be way more crazier than Deadpool. That's right, crazier than Deadpool because
I like this compared to Superman. Like I like that it felt more adult. Not saying Superman didn't like it wasn't no kiddie film, but it was a family friendly film. The Supergirl was going for family friendly. And the Supergirl that they chose to handle was not a family-friendly Superman type of character. So they should have went full force with embracing the fact that Kara is the opposite of Clark, but she's still overall going.
But that's my issue. Okay, so like when she was introduced in the comic books, she's supposed to be like, if you look at the 1984 Supergirl film, which is terrible. The best thing about that movie is Helen Slater as Supergirl. Just the writing was trash. That's how Supergirl's supposed to be. She's supposed to be the one like. So when they sent her away to join her cousin, the first thing she did was like, man, like how can I help you? Let's fight crime together. Like it was the most charming shit you've ever seen in your life. Like the fact that they had her kill Krim pissed me the fuck off. I'm like, she's not supposed to kill him. What they should have did was this what happens when they don't fucking read comics. But the result in the comic books is so much more terrifying than that whack ass shit that they did with Krim, because she sent him to the Phantom Zone for 300 years.
Well, Terrence, let me ask you this, bro. Okay, let me ask you this, Terrence. Yo, all right. So, for somebody that didn't read the comics, right? When she killed, what's the motherfucking name? Space Joker. What's Krim?
Yeah,
that was a satisfying kill because remember the little girl was gonna kill him first, and then she did that whole speech about how it's gonna make you a different person, yada yada yada. Don't do it, talk her out of it. But I'm like, he gotta go. So as an audience member that was watching it with a bunch of people, that moment where she finally took that fucking machete thing and put that shit through his neck, that was satisfying to me.
Okay, so
it worked for me.
Supergirl is not supposed to kill. Like, first of all, if they would have did what they did in the comic book, right? Like he was talking about, like some talking about that is satisfying. If they would have did the comic book ending and put him in the Phantom Zone,
not everybody reads comic books, Terrence. That's what I'm saying. Not everybody reads comic books to the average moviegoer.
It doesn't matter. What I'm trying to tell you is that
it does matter. If the motherfucker it matters, nigga.
Let me. So when it comes to the ending that they picked after she made that speech, that shit was stupid as hell. What should have happened was she should have been like, okay, take that nigga to the Phantom Zone, and then you have him be there for 5 minutes. See, most humans don't understand the complexity of the Phantom Zone. The Phantom Zone is a pocket dimension, James Gunn. You know, the shit you set up in the Superman movie? There's your connection right there. These motherfuckers don't read comic books.
Okay,
So
but Terrence, take
within
the
that
comic
pocket
knowledge out
dimension,
of that though. Take the comic knowledge. You go to see a movie. You see what this nigga did through the whole movie. Now, just act like you never read a Supergirl comic in your life. Just as a moviegoer, you see that moment where she stabs you through the fucking neck. Was that not satisfying to see after what this nigga done did to Crypto and this little girl's family?
okay, so that symbol is the idea of hope. They
No,
don't
just answer the question, man.
No, because the symbol is the idea of hope. Look, even my friends were just like, "Is Supergirl supposed to kill?"
Oh, she gave him some hope. You know what I'm saying?
No, she took
Hope
it.
he's very hell.
Look, to me, like the fact that she went through all that, and then it's supposed to be this turnaround, and then she killed him. I'm like, this is so fucking stupid to me. Why? What is the point? Like, to me, it should have been if they would have got to a point in the movie to where she was like Clark and she decided to take him to the Phantom Zone. Now, some humans would have been like, because remember, they don't have the knowledge, right? So they'd be like, oh, you made it easier for him. Actually, you killing him made it easier because the Phantom Zone is a worse punishment. In that pocket dimension, that shit has monsters, demons, ghosts. It changes weather conditions constantly. That is the definition of torture. If you want to punish somebody, you don't kill them. You send them to the Phantom Zone. That's why Jerome.
But we also don't know, like I said, that could play into her arc in a later movie. You know what I'm saying? That could have some ramifications for her, like psychologically down the way. Like that could have just been hinting at that. Like that.
When it comes to later, right? As of right now, I fucking hate that character. That's not Supergirl. Now, what they do with the character later might change my mind if they actually make her Supergirl. Because right now, she's just a drunken ditzy killer. That's not fucking Supergirl. I don't like it.
I don't say it like that, but
bounce off about the Krem thing at the end. Now, me personally, this was my issue with the final, like the little third act. I like when they finally got to the part where when the guy surrounded the little girl and they did and Supergirl finally came in. That's when the action kind of peaked for me at the end. But my issue was, damn, you kind of just she took out Krem too fast. I like how he took her out, but that was too fast. But also, let me say this too. I do like the fact that she did kill Krem for the girl, because this is my I was in Supergirl's position, I would have not allowed that little girl to do that. Because one, you're too young. You are not ready to handle this burden.
She told her to look at the flowers.
Yeah, like but for me, I felt, even though I don't disagree with even Terrence's alternative, like punish him with the Phantom Zone, but
yes, as a comics fan, I would agree with Terrence.
I like that she did instead do that. That was also mature of her to do, and she just took on another burden, because when you kill people or kill something, it's going to internally change you forever. You are forever scarred by that.
Like, look, say if they didn't do the Phantom Zone right, if they actually read the comic books, they could have done something else.
None of these motherfuckers read the comic books. That's the but like but the whole point is like
that's the point I'm trying to bring home, man.
None of these comic book movies have been comic book accurate. None of them.
Actually, yeah, some of them have. So
none of them.
Kick-Ass 1 and 2, the Sin City movie, 300. We can keep doing this. V for Vendetta. There's plenty of them. So
I'm pretty sure there's somebody can nitpick that and be like, oh, that's not, you know what I'm saying, they made a change for that, or, you know what I'm saying, but I'm saying majority of them are not one to one. Like, Infinity War is nothing like that. Absolutely nothing like comic book.
Let me clear this up.
And Infinity War was fire.
Right. Infinity War was amazing. So here's the thing, though. So, as I've said for the 1,000th time, I've been telling humans this for years. I don't need a one-to-one. I need respect. So it should have been right before she was going to kill him that she started thinking about her cousin who was trying to contact her the entire movie. What would Superman do and not kill Krem? Don't do that. I don't want to see that. I don't like that. Now, if I were in that situation, Krim would be dead as fuck. I would do that.
That's
But
what I'm trying to
say.
You would do that, like you say.
That's the point I'm trying to drive home, man.
Yes,
I think this is the exception though, Terrence. Like this guy has to go. Like
no, they don't.
From this point on, hold on. But from this point on, I don't need to kill nobody. But this person gotta go. Some people just gotta go.
No,
You gotta get body.
It's one thing if I take out Krim, but a member of the House of Hell, especially Kara and Kal-El, they don't do that. It don't matter how bad they are. Like the only exception is if you're talking about the multiverse or some shit is in danger. But even then, they try not to do that. Even Superman during the Crisis on Infinite Earths event, this dude was struggling when universes.
And this is the beauty of it. It's movie one. It's movie one. So she can make mistakes. She can make mistakes. That's the whole point. It's like she can make mistakes. She gotta learn from that shit herself too.
Okay, here's
like not to.
I don't mind the character making mistakes, but she made a choice. I don't like that. I don't like the choice that she made. That's not a mistake.
Well,
and then one more thing. So Superman, right? The only issue that I had with him in the movie is when Kara showed up and when she was speaking Kryptonian, he didn't understand. I'm like, that's fucking stupid.
That was funny as hell. That got a pop in my theater. That to me was dope because we really get to see David Cornswell as Superman. I was like, man, this motherfucker corny as hell. Like, this is Superman, bro. To me, I'm like, yo, that's cheesy as hell. Like, I
hated that because when he goes to the fortress, Jor-El teaches him the Kryptonian language, a synthetic Jor-El. Like him not knowing the Kryptonian language, it's dumb as hell. I didn't like that. Even though they played it up for a joke, and I get why some humans would find that funny, I didn't like that shit. So to me, as an adaptation, as a Supergirl movie, it's a fucking F. As a movie, it's all right. It's all right. It's an okay movie. But as an adaptation, it's a fucking F.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I don't disagree. Like, it's all right. And as adaptation, yeah. But I will say this too, and this is why I am even okay with her taking Krim's life. And we have to remember, and someone like Clark Kent, I wouldn't even call him naive. He's just like Supergirl, just like everybody else on this planet. We're born at different points in life. Some people are born with two parents. Some people are born as orphans. Some people don't even make it out the womb. But the point is, Superman got to be born without seeing that atrocity of his planet dying. Kara slowly had to see her people get an infectious disease and get sent away.
Her parents instilled the morals in her, so she wouldn't be like that. She's supposed to be
too. Yeah, just wait. I'm not disagreeing. But and also her father kind of put a burden on her, like, hey, you gotta, you gotta live for us, because she just wanted to up and die. She was like, I want to be in the ground with you guys.
I want to live.
I want to go out there. That's scary. Because I feel her, because I ain't gonna lie. If I was in the same situation, like mom and dad, I want to go with y'all. I'm not, because that's the thing too. Once she got sent off of the remains of Krypton, she was officially thrown into the world as an adult. Like, look at it like that. And when you step into
I get that, but she still didn't have her personality. Like, she's supposed to have her personality. See, the fact that she got to see that on top of her still being hopeful is what makes that inspiring. I'm like, damn, after all that shit, she's still like, I want to do good. Like Kal-El, like, I hope you never have to experience that shit. I got to see my people die, but we got to make sure that nobody else suffers. They stripped all that shit away. Rashad, don't you not okay how they did the Hulk? When they mess up the Hulk, do you not dislike that?
Listen, I'm not just like I just said earlier. I said if I was a fan of the source material, I would probably feel the same way you do. But I'm just saying, as a movie, as somebody that never read the comic, I got satisfaction out of seeing your boy getting taken out. But look, I totally understand your frustration, man. I totally understand your frustration.
Look, check this out. I don't care if somebody likes the movie. That's their business. It's just that if you asking me why I fucking hate the movie, I can talk about this for 10 hours, and you know that.
Well, Terrence, you can talk about peanuts for 10 hours, man. Whatever topic it is, man. I'm like, Terrence, tell me about peanuts. Well, Rashada started out as George Washington Carver.
and mind you, I will say this too, because I don't. Well, okay, she was born 8 years after Clark left Krypton. He died on the main planet died, and I don't know. I just like that they kind of like really showed what that like. Carl was going through depression. That's why she was drinking and stuff. She was depressed.
If they would have focused on that movie.
Because look at it like this, real quick. Look at it like this. She went from seeing her planet dying, and then she's ushered into this new planet, and then her cousin kind of introduces her to being a superhero. He's trying to like integrate her into making Metropolis her home, but like Clark, she grew up with her people. She didn't grow up with you. And
right, and then by the end, she does have that character arc.
He's also being a little bit too pushy, but he's not like forcing her. But I also like it.
He doesn't have to force her. She asked to do that. That's why this shit is weird to me as somebody with all this knowledge. It makes no fucking sense.
No, it's not.
But at the end of the movie, she does have that arc where she does want to team up with him.
But you know what's strange is the editing. The editing in this movie is so fucking atrocious. It's so choppy, and you can tell a lot of scenes are missing. I wonder what it was 9 reshoots ago.
Nigga, I said the same thing about Michael. You saw that 10 times in the theater, man.
But no. But here's the thing, though. I never praised Michael's writing. I praised the idea that the movie's entertaining, and Jafar is a great actor because he made us believe that Michael was alive.
Yeah, but the writing in that was atrocious. The editing was atrocious. Everything that you're criticizing Supergirl for, they did in Michael.
But you just heard what I just said. I'm not saying, I never said the movie was perfect. I said I enjoyed it. That's different.
Well, shit, enough to see it 10 times?
Yes, because I'm a big fan of Michael. Look, Michael Jackson is one of the few humans that when I see him.
I thought you were talking about Halloween.
No. It's about the Michael.
Ever since I was a kid, he's one of the few individuals when I see him, I automatically smile. That's what was happening for me during the duration of that film. So that's why.
Hold on. Ain't no way you thought we was just talking about fucking Mike Myers. Gen Z, man. That Gen Z shit, man.
I don't want to go see the Michael movie. I'm sorry. I don't want to go see that movie. I don't.
Why?
You fucking up, kid. Like this.
Can I ask?
You need to get it to $1 billion. No. Go watch that so you can get it to $1 billion.
Listen, I need to ask this. Even though films like this, like I like the real gritty stuff that like give me the real, don't sugarcoat it.
Oh no, that's not your movie then.
It's just a celebration.
You're waiting for part 2. You're waiting for part 2 for all the depressing stuff.
That shit didn't happen until after 80 anyway. That's why I don't know what the fuck humans are talking about. I'm like, all these accusations and shit happened after that. Apparently, they don't know the timeline. That's part 2 when you get that shit.
Man.
But K-Dot, are you a fan of Michael Jackson? Yes or no?
Oh yeah, I am Michael Jackson.
Why you asking like that?
But is it as gritty as like the Joe Jackson movie? Like
no,
I'll tell you what the thing.
It doesn't even tell 40% of the story, man. It doesn't even tell 30% of the story.
Check this out, right? Ideally,
because his daughter wasn't feeling it, and also Janet Jackson was barely speaking about this movie either.
Janet wasn't in the movie. Randy wasn't in the movie.
Janet did not want to be in the film.
But there's a reason I say that too, because you guys remember the Jackson 5 had that falling out, and after that too, Michael was mainly only doing stuff with Janet, and there was a reason for that because he was not messing with the other brothers like that.
How are you a fan of Michael Jackson, but you didn't see the movie? Not even one time.
Right.
I wasn't.
Fraud alert. Fraud alert.
Yep, fraud. Look, it's just a celebration. Michael Jackson.
I don't want no sugarcoated Michael movie, bro, because Michael Jackson, Michael is dead, and his family members are his family members who are also jealous of him too.
That shit got more sugarcoated than Advil, bro.
Before the movie came out, Antoine Fuqua specifically said that this is a movie to celebrate Michael. That's what it's all about. For at least for part one. Part two gonna be sad as fuck. But part one is about celebrating Michael. It's like watching a concert. That's basically what it is.
Oh, well, if that's the case, I'll just watch Michael's real performances then on YouTube.
Oh man. Oh man.
I'm good.
That's a damn shame. Look. Like I said,
I got Michael on spot.
We are lost. You are a lost generation.
No. This is the thing.
Lost brother.
You're lost.
Listen, I got Mike on Spotify. I got Mike because of my parents. My parents was born in the 50s. So they put me on the mic.
So you got Mike on Spotify, but I didn't spot you in the theater when the movie came out, huh? See that?
Right.
Yeah.
You LARPer. You're a micro LARPer.
Hey, look, but to be honest, y'all, look, like DC and Marvel, like I'm a bigger DC fan, but I love both brands. I've read thousands of comic books from both. So I'm extremely knowledgeable and passionate. Like I really care about these characters. Like when shit is off, I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Like even with Man of Steel, right? I do like Man of Steel, but I specifically said that I would never make Superman like that. Him snapping Zod's neck and shit, that shit shocked me. I was like, I would never have my Superman do that. But the movie was done.
Screaming like a little girl.
He
can't even scream like a man.
Well, and also Clark could have just pulled him up.
He straight up. Look, Superman is supposed to be dark and depressing.
Or instead of breaking his neck, he could have just dropped him on his neck. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Some shit.
He could have knocked him out. Look, see, humans are just like, he had no choice. I'm like, he could have flew him straight up. He could have punched him out. He could have just threw him on his head. There's countless ways that Superman can knock somebody out. Even
Zod could have done that. Because wait, Terrence, Zod could have done that. And also Zod is military trained. He knows how, he would know how to knock somebody out. With
Zod, so the way that fight went down, because Zod is the equivalent of a Kryptonian Navy SEAL, it makes sense as to why that fight lasted that long. However, Superman is the Michael Jordan, the Bruce Lee of Kryptonians. So even though someone has more training, because his potential is so much higher, he can still knock your ass out with an index finger. How about the same dude that can accidentally sneeze an entire galaxy? So I'm saying the more you know, the better you can make these movies. Like when humans think that certain things are good, I'm like, nah, it could have been made so much better if you just would have sprinkled a couple things in there.
Well, listen, can I just say this, man? Can I just say this? I get it, but bro, not everything on the page is going to translate on the screen. You know what I'm saying?
That's
like there's something. Hold on, no, stay with me now. There's some things that they try to take from the page and put in a movie, and then it fucked up, right or wrong. You know what I'm saying?
You're right. Here's the thing, though. That's why I said it don't need to be one for one. Someone that has knowledge in general of the character, they can tell you what to do and what not to do. There's a bunch of stuff in Superman, Supergirl, X-Men, and that I would tell you, don't you ever put that in the movie. What to do. But that's why you need to have these individuals in your corner. Like with the Spider-Man films. Remember when those Sam Raimi Spider-Man films came out? When I saw that, I had knowledge of those comic books, I was like, they kind of made Spider-Man better. Look at what they did to his villains, and this is more serious instead of goofy, like a lot of his comic books. In some ways, they made them better because they didn't just take everything from Spider-Man comic books. That's why I appreciate the Sam Raimi Spider-Man films. Those are not one-to-one. So even like The Dark Knight, that shit is definitely not no one-to-one to no Batman comic book. That entire movie would have been over in 2 minutes if it were Batman from DC Comics.
I think and for both, and this is both for Rashad and Terrence, just to bounce off of them. Um, do you guys does everyone remember what Nate Moore said about how they do the hiring for certain people? Do you guys remember that video from a while back? It was like 2022 or 2023.
Mm-mm.
It was around the time they were making Wakanda Forever. Also, Nate Moore was still with Marvel.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, and this is, and sometimes this is where even I get confused. But also, to be fair, I would need to probably work at the company in order to truly understand why they do stuff like this. We know they do utilize the comic books to an extent, but we also do know, but we also do know that they do not want to pull everything from the comics. But Nate Moore said they only like to hire people that are not fans of the comics.
Correct. So they can fuck it up. That's why he do.
So wait. Hear me out. I'm about to finish it. But and that's what's confusing. So are we using the comics or not?
Right, Kevin Feige.
So
Before, when he was doing X-Men, right, with Fox, he had them read X-Men comic books. But with the MCU, it's like, don't touch the comic books. Really?
Because look at Endgame. Look at Cap with Mjolnir. That's the only way someone would know about that is from the comics, or someone who read the comics told you about that, or if you saw it.
No, that's not true. You can Google Cap holding Mjolnir. These motherfuckers use Google. They don't read shit.
Yeah, I know. Like, they can Google it, but it came from that. Like, the source, it came from the comic. Like, they didn't just. That's not original.
Actually, I think more of them actually watch YouTube videos
from the comic, and even kind of slightly understand why they can do that. And the reason Cap can do that is because he fits the character traits that Odin sort of have. In order to
you know what's interesting about that example? That's common sense. To me, the idea that Cap can do Mjolnir for the same reason, like, even if nobody read the comics, if Captain America 1 and they see why he was chosen to be Captain America, if you have functioning brain cells, it makes sense that he can use Mjolnir. It's the idea of being pure, wholesome. Just like when you ask the average person, what does Superman represent? Oh, hope, because he believes in all life and precious. That's such a common sense type thing. But if you want to ask them the more complex questions, I bet you they
right, because those people
like stuff like that.
Those people watch the movies and the shows, which is not bad.
I don't mean to disrupt this great conversation, but I'm going to wrap this up, and we can finish this. We can do a part 2 around when Spider-Man comes out, because I feel like that conversation is going to be brought up again.
Sadie Sink, hey, YouTube, fuck me over. I have my theory videos for Spider-Man Brand New Day. I've already said 6 different characters that I think Sadie Sink is, including the female Punishers. I'm just saying, like, but we'll see who she gonna be. I still settle on Jean Grey, but we'll see. But she could be any number of characters. But I'm curious to see if I'm right about one of my 6 choices. Even like,
I'm looking forward to it. You guys think
they're gonna cuck the Hulk, man. I'm telling you, the Hulk is gonna get.
I don't want to know nothing. I ain't see the trailer.
In the trailer, I'm telling you, they're gonna cuck him. They always do a boy like that.
No, I don't want to know nothing.
They're gonna have Spider-Man or Punisher beat. Oh, actually, you know what? They're gonna have a female beat the Hulk. Female gonna beat the Hulk.
She-Hulk gonna beat the Hulk. But I appreciate everybody that pulled up in the live. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate the panel. You know what I'm saying? Let me know in the comments below what y'all think about, just everything that was being discussed. How do y'all feel about Supergirl and just everything with the DCU and just everything in general? The next episode will be the Odyssey focus, so I'm looking forward to that. That should be exciting. But yeah, I like that whole conversation. You said what?
So you're excited? I got my IMAX. Now, are you? I have a couple of little nitpicks, like some of the casting choices, but I am excited. I believe that Greek mythology should remain intact without any of these strange changes. But we'll see how the movie turns out.
Yep. Yeah, I will see y'all in the next one.
Catch y'all later. Peace.